From the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles, California, CBS Sports presents the New York Giants versus the Los Angeles Rams. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with George Allen. Welcome to Southern California. The weatherman has given us a good break, and we go into this ball game where the Giants have won 3 in a row. The Rams have lost 2 in a row badly, but the Rams are favored. So the question before the house, George, why?
Well, this is the first real playoff team the Giants have faced. The Rams have, I think, one of the best defensive lines in all of football. The Giants have had some problems with their offensive line. To defeat the Rams' defense, I think you have to throw the ball. It'll be interesting to see if the Giants' offensive line can keep those rushmen off of Sims.
Now, if they can't keep the rushmen out, what will the quarterback try to do to foil it? Quick passes, screens, draws, or what?
Right. He'll have to get rid of the ball quickly so he doesn't get stacked, run screens, run draws, get the running game going.
So the Giants tested against the Rams, and with that thought in mind, let's go down to the floor of the Coliseum. And before these two clubs bust heads, we give you the report that New Orleans Saints won their ball game over Washington, and they're now leading in the West 5-4. So for the Rams, a must game to stay even with New Orleans. Atlanta 3-5 and San Francisco 1-7. The Giants will be kicking off, though Joe Danello will tee it up on the 35-yard line. And deep for Los Angeles will be Drew Hill, number 87. He'll be flanked up on the 10-yard line by Eddie Hill, number 24, and Elvis Peacock, number 34. The temperature at the start of the game, a balmy 73 degrees. So here come the Giants and the Rams, and Joe Danello gets us underway. Drew Hill right on the goal line to the 15. And down he goes to the 21. Marion brought him down with a good tackle at the 20-yard line. And so Frank Marion stops him, and the Rams will start just across their own 20. Hayden, Tyler, and Bryant in the backfield, with Ron Smith, Preston Denard, and the tight end Terry Nelson. Up front, Gordon Gravel will start, just coming over from the Giants. Kent Hill, the rookie, then Rick Saul, Dennis Harrah, and Jackie Slater. So the Rams, 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Ron Smith wide right. Preston Denard left. Tyler and Bryant. And it's Tyler upended by Beasley Reese at the 15-yard line. It's a good play by Beasley, coming up from his safety spot. And, of course, the two coaches. On your left, Ray Perkins. He'll be 38 years old in a week. And on your right, Ray Malavasi, 49 on the 8th of November. So they're just 2 days apart. For the Giants, at left end, George Martin. The nose guard is John Mendenhall, and the right end is Gary Jeter. And the Giants go with a 3-4. Van Pelt, Lloyd, Carson, and Kelly, the linebackers. 2nd and 16 for the Rams. And the first man to make contact is Mendenhall as Martin came over. And it's a question now whether they were drawn off sides or not. A legal procedure, the preliminary signal against the Rams.
72, Hill moved. This first series is very important for the Rams. They haven't played well the last 2 weeks. Hayden usually likes to move the team, and does move the team, right down the field the first time he gets the ball.
There's the movement of Kent Hill, who is a rookie out of Georgia Tech, and in a badly banged-up Ram offensive line, he's making a start. 2nd and 20 from the 10. Hayden from his own 1-yard line, throwing high, and it's broken up, intended for Ron Smith. Right there with him was Oldham to bust it up.
Here's Ron Smith working on the corner. The ball is well thrown up high. Ron has it, but the contact jarred the ball loose. Good defense.
In the backfield defensively for the Giants, Jackson, Caldwell, Reese, and Oldham, with Caldwell playing for Ray Royds, who is out with a groin. 3rd and 20 from the 10. Smith wide right, Denard left, and the running backs are Tyler and Bryant. And they're going to try a draw to Bryant, and he gets out to the 15-yard line. So they picked up 5. That makes it 4th and 15. And Ken Clark in the punting unit will come in, and Malavasi off to a sputtering start.
The Giants bring in Phil Tabor, number 80, in that situation, and he's been doing a good job for him. Rushing the passer and can play all 4 positions.
Ken Clark, averaging 40 yards. As you can see, his longest 60s had 1 block, and 11 of his 52 have been kicked OB. Bobby Hammond standing alone on his own 38.
Ben, he kicks a lot of line drives.
We'll see what Clark does under a little pressure. He got it up, and Hammond backtracking to his own 38-yard line, and down he goes. And the first man down to get him was little Drew Hill, 5'9", 170, a speed merchant out of Georgia Tech. Now let's take a look at the Giants offensively. The rookie Phil Simms leading his club to 3 straight victories with Billy Taylor and Doug Coder in the backfield. The wide receiver, the ex-Ram Dwight Scales, along with Ernest Gray, and the tight end is Gary Shirk. And up front, Benson Van Horn, Clark Turner, and Neville. So the Giants put it in play, 1st and 10 from their own 36. Out of the eye with Gray in motion to the left. And Simms going to put it up right away. A little swing to Taylor, who dropped it. He took his eye off the ball to see where Osteen was.
Exactly. If you watch his head, the reason he dropped this ball, the pass was perfect. He was looking downfield. He wanted to see where the defense was coming from. Watch him now. Watch his head, see if we can see it. He was looking away from the reception.
Dwayne Osteen was right there putting a little pressure on him. 2nd and 10 on the Giant 36. Ernest Gray wide right. Dwight Scales wide left. Taylor on a Wayne Coder, the setback. Simms again throwing and lobbing to Billy Taylor. No good. He stepped out of bounds at the 45 before making the reception, so the pass is incomplete.
Well, here's what we talked about. The Rams rush. They've got pretty good pressure on Simms. He was hit just as he released the ball.
Jack Youngblood coming in from the left side. Now they take out Reynolds and they bring in Sid Justin, and they will take out Bob Brzezinski. So the Rams again looking pass. 3rd and 10 from the 36. Slot left, Gray inside Scales, and motion is Perkins. Over the middle, no. Simms checks on that one and decides to run. And he's to midfield across the 40-yard line and will be dropped at the 37-yard line. A big first down for the rookie.
You know, he didn't want to run. He wanted to throw the ball. Everybody was covered. He surveyed the field and showed good judgment there.
It looked like he had Perkins wide open going across the middle, and then they picked him up.
The Rams ran a stunt, and that's what happens when you run a stunt and you get blocked in. Sometimes you have a big opening there. I like to see him put that ball away. He's waving it around there.
So from the Giant 36, they move to the Ram 37. First down for Phil Simms and company. And Simms going to throw it again. Under pressure, fumbles, recovered by the Giants.
Well, you know, the thing that surprises me a little bit, Ben, is that they're throwing the ball every down, and the strength of the Rams defense is their pass rush. Dreyer comes in and hits them from the blind side, forces the fumble.
Tom Neville falling on it, 14-year veteran out of Mississippi State, saved the bacon for Simms.
And we talked about the way to beat the Ram defense is throw the ball. You have to be able to pass, but you have to be able to protect your passer.
2nd and 18 on the Ram 45, so they lost 8 on that last play, and they go slot left. Ernest Gray is inside Scales. Perkins is wide right. And it's a draw to Coder. And Coder has daylight. He is down to the 32-yard line. Big call.
I like Coder. When we defense the Giants, we had a lot of respect for this guy.
Flag on the play, and it'll be a clip. Preliminary signal, a clip against the Giants on that draw for Coder.
That was a good call. Good call against the nickel defense.
Our referee today is Fred Silva, but we understand his microphone is broken. Let's see. We might have to read his lips, but I know it was a clip. No, it was a clip. You do not get the guilty party's number, however. And Ray Malavasi hoping to get a sleeping Ram club back in action. They're right at the 500 mark. New Orleans won today to take a 1-game lead in the NFC West. 2nd and 26, Simms to Coder, and he got by Larry Brooks, but he doesn't get by Nolan Cromwell and the rest of the Rams. Eddie Brown was there as well to push him back at the 40-yard line.
Well, the Rams are in a nickel defense.
By Nolan Cromwell and Eddie Brown.
And they're trying to run against it. They ran a draw the previous play. This play was a trap. Didn't fool the Rams.
3rd and 28.
So it is a 3rd down and 28 for the Giants. You can see a final score. Buffalo got off the deck and beat Detroit 20-17. The ball just at the 46-yard line of the Giants. Remember, they had it 1st and 10 on the Ram 37, and the clip has sent them backwards. In motion is Billy Taylor. Sims getting some protection and is belted at the last minute by the rookie Andrews, and George Andrews stretched him.
And Sims is down. Sims is down. He got hit from the blind side. Again, they aren't going to make a living throwing against this defense with the rush that the Rams have.
George Andrews, a rookie out of Nebraska, was the Rams' first-round draft choice. He was the 19th player drafted, and he put on a savage hit on Phil Sims. But Sims evidently walks off the field shaken up at nothing more. Dave Jennings kicking deep, and Eddie Brown will take it at his own 12-yard line. Boxed in and knocked down at about the 18, and the fellow who boxed him in and did such a good job was Ray Oldham. So the Rams will put it in play, 1st and 10 on their own 18-yard line. No score, 10:21 to go in the first quarter. 10 minutes and 21 seconds left to go in the first quarter. The Giants and the Rams no score. The Giants going under one drive. Dave Elmendorf, strong safety for the Rams, banged up. And evidently in this instance, however, nothing physical. One of the cleats coming off his shoe, which would be good news for the Rams. They've had about 13 major injuries thus far this year. For the Giants, they started on their own 36, got to the Ram 37, and a clipping penalty ruined that drive. And now the Rams have it, 1st and 10 on their own 18. Bryant and Tyler out of the eye. Tyler is the deep back. And it'll be Hayden to Tyler. Grabbed from behind by Gary Jeter. And, of course, Jeter played here at USC. He should be pumped up for this,
well,
George.
He should be. This is one of his first opportunities to play out here. He was hoping to play against Doug France. Doug France is an all-pro, and now he's going against Gravel. It'll be interesting to see that battle.
So it is 2nd and about 12. The ball on the Rams' 16-yard line. And Hayden's going to send it up. And slips and goes down, trying to get out of the way of a good rush by Carson and Jeter.
One thing we might watch today is Pat Hayden does a tremendous job of varying his cadence. That time he went on sound. It didn't fool the Giants. Hayden will draw them off sides a couple of times here today. Sometimes he bobs his head and he gets away with it.
Hayden is making his 35th consecutive start. Only one NFC quarterback has a longer streak. That would be Philadelphia's Ron Jaworski, who has started 39. But it is a sputtering start. 3rd and 23 from the 5. Here comes Colin Bryant. Turning back in, George Martin made a good play along with Brian Kelly. Martin, number 75, was going to be taken out, and he hurdled his blocker and then came back to turn it in with Kelly. Good defensive play.
Yeah, we always like to see that against the nickel defense, 3rd and long. I'd rather see them run the ball than throw it.
So that makes it a 4th and 16. The ball on the Ram 12. The last time the Rams surrendered the ball, they were 4th and 15 on their 15. Bobby Hammond goes back again in a single safety, standing on the Giant 39-yard line. Giants load up, and time will be called a delay of the game. So they ran out of their 30 seconds, and Clark appeared to be a little startled to think the time had run out.
Well, in the games we did, as you know, then Clark's kicked a lot of line drives. Now his last punt...
Delay.
His last punt was 47 yards, and he had a good hang time, 4.5. It'll be interesting to see what he does this time, kicking out of the end zone.
And I mean, he's almost out of the end zone as it is, 1 yard from the back line. So Hammond comes up to his own 45, and a low, poor hurry kick that hits on the 35, and to allow it to roll and finally field it by Peacock at about the Ram 38, and that puts the Giants
He
in
wasn't
beautiful
rushed.
spot.
He had good protection. He just hit it poorly.
Poor kick by Ken Clark, and the Giants are in business. 8:31 left in the first quarter, no score. The Giants in good field position. 1st and 10 on the Ram 38. Coder all alone behind Sims as the Giants come out in a slot left. Coder straight ahead, nowhere. This telecast, presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Rams and the National Football League is prohibited. Phil Simms, first Giant rookie to start regularly since 1948. That's when Steve Owens installed the T formation in the middle of the year to take advantage of the passing of rookie Charlie Connerly, who was the last Giant quarterback to beat the Rams back in 1961. Sims deciding to run again to the 30, under at the 25.
There's
He
a
just
flag.
did go under Osteen, and there's a flag.
A late flag.
So Sims taking off for the second time and then sliding underneath Osteen, and it'll be a holding penalty, and it'll be against the Giants.
They've had two critical penalties. The clipping penalty and this holding penalty took them out of good field position. Again, everybody was covered.
Dwight Scales and Ernest Gray.
Number 74, holding.
So the holding against the veteran up front, 14 years in the league, Tom Neville. I guess that play was to go to Ernest Gray, but let's take a look at the holding right there.
There it is.
Yeah, a good chunk of it.
Yeah, good call. Almost tackled him.
2nd and 20 on the 47 of the Rams. Down the middle, picked off by Dave Elmendorf. And Elmendorf back to his own 25. Taylor has him by the jersey, and Billy Taylor brings him down at the Ram 33. But Dave Elmendorf coming up with a big interception, his 3rd of the year.
Well, that's what happens if you have to repeatedly throw against the nickel defense.
So the Rams dodge a bullet and take over. A Super Bowl lineup tonight on CBS. 60 Minutes. Archie Bunker's Place, One Day at a Time, Alice, the Jefferson, and Trapper John, M.D. right here on CBS. So Phil Simms had thrown one interception in his last 70, and he throws another one on his 4th try today. And the Rams have it 1st and 10 on their own 32. Wendell Tyler out across the 35 to the 37 with Gary Jeter on top of him.
Well, you know, actually what's taking place so far is the Giants' offensive line against the Rams' rushman. So far, the Rams' defensive line has had a lot of pressure on Sims.
For Pat Hayden, trying to pick up the pieces after 2 brutal defeats at the hands of Dallas and San Diego. He has it 2nd and 5 on his own 37. Wendell Tyler following Cullen Bryant, but Dan Lloyd wrapped him up immediately. Lloyd, who's been playing outstanding ball, and you can see Harry Carson with the ball. It brings back the Kansas City game. Couple of scores right now. Pittsburgh defeated Dallas 14-3. They tell us Preston Pearson left on a stretcher. Roger Staubach was hurt with 11 minutes left and had to come out. New Orleans beat Washington, an upset there 14-10. Buffalo down, came from behind and beat Detroit 20-17. And of course for the Rams, that New Orleans victory puts a lot of pressure on the Horns. They have it 3rd and 4 on their own 38. Hayden with both backs out, under a little heat. No good. He threw it behind the intended receiver, Preston Denard.
The Giants use what we call a nickel dog. It's a dog where you come with 4 men to the weak side. You can't pick it up on offense. And Hayden has a delivery sack. Made him throw the ball inaccurately. Good call by the Giant defense.
Caldwell right there picking up the intended receiver, Preston Denard.
They come in then with 4 men to the weak side of the formation.
So Ken Clark kicking to Bobby Hammond, who is standing all alone on the Giant 15-yard line. And a wobble, and he can't run, so he passes the ball. He completed it to, of all people, the rookie George Andrews.
You know what that reminds me of?
Yes, I know.
What is
The
it?
little tie salesman, Gallo Yefremov.
You got a good memory.
Look at here.
Boy, that's risky to throw it. When the tie salesman threw it, he threw it to Mike Bass, and he went for a touchdown, 14-7.
George Andrews, the right side linebacker, caught the pass. It was not a first down, of course. The Giants will take over. It was a 4th and 4. And it'll be an ineligible receiver as well.
Well, you refused the penalty in that case.
Eligible receiver downfield, penalty declined.
So Ken Clark, who has had a very wobbly start, one poor punt out of the end zone, and then a bobble and a wobbly pass. So the Giants will take over. And the Rams having themselves all kinds of problems, and for New York a chance to put it in play.
Downfield. Refuse. First down.
So the Giants have it 1st and 10. The ball is just inside the Ram 40-yard line. So after all of that, the Giants lost 2 yards, even though they gave up the interception to Elmendorf. In motion is Ernest Gray. Second man is Billy Taylor. And he runs into people. It's going to be very difficult to run, I would think.
Yes, you aren't going to make too much against the Rams defense running. Again, as we said at the top of the show, they're going to have to be able to throw to defeat the Ram defense. However, what they did there is good. You have to run enough to keep those rushmen honest.
It's interesting to point out that San Diego only picked up 65 yards against Ray Malavese's team on the ground, and yet the Chargers just killed the Rams and did a lot of it defensively. 2nd and 7 from the 37. Sims looking to the right side, intended for Ernest Gray, and right there with him was Dwayne Osteen.
And Sims is getting up off the ground. He was hit. He's been hit just about every time he's delivered that football.
One thing about the Rams, they can't really tell about the Giant quarterback and his probables, because Sims is the 5th different quarterback to start for the Giants in their last 5 games against the Rams. Joe Pisarcik last year, then you go back 3 years to Craig Morton, 6 years to Randy Johnson, and 9 years to Fran Tarkenton. And now another newcomer, Phil Sims. 3rd and 7 from the 37. Sims has Coder, and Coder goes out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Coder is a man who receives a lot of Sims passes, and he's a pretty good man with the football. That's his 17th pass this year.
He's a good all-purpose back. He does everything well. He's had trouble. Here's Gray in motion, trying to run a crossing pattern, and is jammed by Youngblood. In fact, that is a pick play where Youngblood is picked off by the flanker.
So on a 4th and 2, the Giants will go for the field goal. Randy Dean will hold at the 39. And Joe Danello, who is 5 out of 12, as long as 47, is asked to kick a 49-yard field goal. It is up. It is good.
Good kick.
Joe Danello's longest field goal of the year.
Perfect.
We should mention he kicked 7 out of 9 from outside the 40 last year, and 2 out of 3, 50 or more. So he's got a good leg.
Perfect execution.
Giants 3, Rams nothing. 3-0 Giants on a 49-yard field goal by Joe Danello with 5:18 left in the first quarter. Deep for the Rams is Drew Hill, and Hill will take a line drive at about the 1 to the 15-20 at the 25 and falls forward to the 27-yard line. Hit first by McKinney and then by Marion. So the Ram cheerleaders trying to muster some kind of an offense for Pat Hayden. The Rams had an interception by Dave Elmendorf and then a busted punt play that turned into an illegal pass, and the Giants cashing that in with the 49-yard field goal. So from the 26, it is 1st and 10 Rams. Bryant and Tyler, play action fake by Hayden, and he's looking deep down the middle. He's got Denard, and Caldwell brings him down at the 45-yard line.
Well, that's what Pat does very well. Play action, 1st and 10.
Flag on the play, however, and evidently against the Rams.
Holding, looks like.
Well, there's the reception, and Caldwell slamming him down. And they're going to spot the ball on the 16-yard line.
Offense, number 73, holding.
And that's
First
Gordon
down.
Gravel, the ex-Giant, who is guilty of the holding. You can take a look at the left corner. You might see Gravel up there, and he just left the frame. So it is now 1st and 20 from the 16 for Hayden. Hayden going to the left side, and there's Preston Denard all alone. Caldwell was playing him loose, and he makes a reception at the 30. He still has another 6 yards to go.
It looks like they're going to work on Caldwell. They've had 2 big gainers over there. Caldwell was kind of a surprise starter.
George, I have a question for you. The Giants are playing the 3-man front, the 3-4 defense. That does not seem to be the defense you would use against somebody like a Hayden.
We like to rush Hayden up the gut, up the middle. With a 3-4, you don't get that inside rush unless you dog those 2 inside linebackers.
2nd and 6 on the Giant, or on the Ram 30. The Giants on the defense. Second man, Wendell Tyler, Jackie Slater, and Colin Bryant. And a good job on the far side by Brad Van Pelt, number 10, because he stopped Slater's block and jammed up the play.
I like Van Pelt. He's an all-pro type of guy that you like to have in your football team. He strung that out and penetrated, got across, made the play on Tyler.
That was Jeff Rutledge, a rookie out of Alabama, who is the backup man for Hayden because Vince Ferragamo, the number 2 quarterback, is out with a bad hand. You're looking at Brad Van Pelt. He has a sore elbow, but he's starting and playing very well. 3rd and 3 from the 33. Both backs flare out. And it's a low attempted reception, no good for Wendell Tyler, and Kelly was right there to break it up.
Perfect coverage by 55, Kelly.
Brian Kelly makes his home out here in Thousand Oaks, so you know he's got some folks in the stands.
He has to be fired up. Here it is. No chance. Watch Kelly. Right there, right on him.
First quarter score, Chicago 7.
The Jets in Houston going into overtime, all locked up at 24. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay coming from behind, now leading Minnesota 12-10 in the 4th. Ken Clark punting to Bobby Hammond. Hammond is all alone on the Giant 25. And Clark, a line drive kick. Hammond takes it at the 27. And hit at the 35. Drew Hill, the first man down there to make the initial contact. Baltimore leading New England 24-19 in the 4th. So Ken Clark still dissatisfied with his kicking. He had one poor one, then one busted one that went for a pass, and now a line drive.
3-5 hang time on that kick.
Well, as you mentioned, George, that's one of his big problems, those line drive punts. Too Tall Jones, that's right, he's going into the boxing business. He'll be fighting Jesus Yaki Meneses. That's next Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular. 1st and 10 on the Giant 35. Doug Coder trying to get outside, and he's going to be dragged down by Osteen. Dwayne Osteen, number 33, hit him first to stop Coder as he tried to get outside, and no way. On the CBS Sports Spectacular, we'll also have the Battle of the NFL Cheerleaders. All of that plus Too Tall Jones. That's too much. Next Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And add to that, Part 1, the World Series of Poker. Highlights televised from Las Vegas. Gabe Kaplan will make a special appearance. Minnesota Fats and Jimmy the Greek will be on hand. That's Coder again out across the 35-yard line.
The Rams are using their nickel defense on 2nd down now. They ran a stunt. Good call by the Giants. They ran a lead draw, which they made big yardage on before, and the Rams ran a stunt and stopped it.
Sims, of course, is not calling his plays. Ray Perkins is
all
sending
the
them all
plays
in.
are sent in. Let's see what he does here.
3rd and 10 on the 35 of the Giants. Ernest Gray is wide right. Dwight Scales wide left. Shirk, the tight end, on the right side. And Sims under heat. Down he goes. Fred Dreyer got him after Bob Brodzinski just missed him.
They ran the same dog. It's a weak side dog where the weak side linebacker comes in. The Giants haven't picked it up. Here it is.
Fourth quarter score, Tampa Bay 12, Minnesota
comes in untouched. Brzezinski. Until they block that, you stay with it.
So Dave Jennings, who is averaging a little more than 42 yards in his punting, however, most of them have been returned, and that's been his problem. 18 of his 22 punts have been returned. He hits it to Eddie Brown at the 35, and he just did get by Otis McKinney, and he's dropped at the 42-yard line, and the last man to hit him was Emery Moorhead. So Hayden finally gets a little bit better field position. The Rams had it on their own 20, on their own 18, on their own 30, on their own 32, and now they finally get it 1st and 10 on their own 41. Tonight, you know, there's a church in Florida that believes that marijuana comes from God and that smoking pot is a holy ritual. That's right. And if the court rules in their favor, it could affect marijuana laws everywhere. Be sure to watch 60 Minutes tonight. West Coast will see 60 Minutes at its regularly scheduled time. Cullen Bryant hit head-on by Dan Lloyd, and boy, that's a couple of bulls.
Lloyd has really helped their defensive football team, and the other thing that they talk about the Giants winning 3 straight with Sims being the quarterback. Also, they went to the 34 defense and brought in Lloyd, which has helped their football team. Now, that's a veer play, which is very difficult to run against a 34 because you got that extra inside linebacker.
So it is 2nd and 7 on the Ram 44. No score, 1:59 left. No score for the Rams, that is. The Giants had a big 3. Second man, Wendell Tyler, stacked up and fights his way for an additional yard or 2 as he was hit from the right side by Dan Lloyd again.
Dan Lloyd made the stop.
Cincinnati leading Philadelphia, and of course the first thought that comes to mind, a banged up Ron Jaworski. You're wondering if he's even playing. Cincinnati 10, Philadelphia 3. Denver 7, Kansas City nothing in the first. And Chicago leading the 49ers 7-0 in the first. 3rd and 4 on the 47 of the Rams, 3-0 Giants. Hayden is going to release it to Wendell Tyler, and he is boxed in and fights his way for the first down. Good play by Wendell Tyler. Van Pelt and Carson appeared to have him boxed, but Tyler, who played here at UCLA, got the big yardage.
Tyler's very difficult when he's one-on-one. Hayden wanted to go downfield. Everybody was covered. He did a smart thing. He dumped it off to Tyler, get the first down. Hayden had good protection that time.
So on the Giant 47, it's 1st and 10 Rams. 37 seconds left in the first quarter. Ron Smith is wide left. Denard is right. And Denard in motion. Wendell Tyler going outside, a block by Tannehill, and he is dragged down at the 43. Beasley Reese hit him. Tannehill, another rookie, big number 72, is trying to lead the play.
Ball spotted.
Wendell's carrying that ball a little better, and he's putting it away. He usually waves it all around. We might get a shot of Wendell carrying that football.
That reminds us about the Rams last week had 8 turnovers. And meanwhile, an island of Giant fans here in a sea of Ramdom. And it's the Giants who are on top of the crest at the end of the first quarter on a 49-yard field goal by Joe Danilo, 3-0. We get the report from Philadelphia. Ron Jaworski is playing, but not much. It's Cincinnati controlling the football and leading the Eagles 17-3 in the first quarter. 2nd and 4 on the 41. The Rams trailing 3-0, just the start of the second quarter. Ron Smith wide right, Denard left, and it's still Tyler and Bryant behind Hayden. Here comes Cullen Bryant, ran around Brad Van Pelt, boxed in by Harry Carson, along with Oldham and Lloyd, and they finally knock him out. But he picked up the first down.
Houston beat the Jets 27-24. 35-yard field goal by Tony Fritsch in overtime. Big win for the Houston Oilers.
So it is 1st and 10 on the Giant 30-yard line. Cullen Bryant going for 11 yards. 3-0 in favor of the Giants. Play action fake to Tyler, and the pass hit to Preston Denard. Caldwell slings him down, but it's enough for a first down at the 19-yard line of New York.
They're still working on Caldwell. Here's a play action. What the ball is throwing when the receiver's back is to the passer. That's perfect. That's what you want.
Final score in overtime, Houston 27, New York Jets 27.
Perfect execution by Hayden.
First quarter, Cincinnati 7.
First and 10 on the Giant 19-yard line. Denard left, Smith right, and they split Bryant and Tyler. Cullen Bryant, but he was hit by Mendenhall, and then Kelly came in to join the fun, and they drop him on the 22.
Well, I like John Mendenhall. He's always played well against our ball clubs. He's quick. He's a perfect man for this 34 defense. They're going to have to help Caldwell in the right corner a little bit, or the Rams are going to keep picking on him.
2nd and 12 on the Giant 21-yard line. John Mendenhall, a workhorse, 8 years out of Grambling. He was a Giant third-round draft choice back in '72.
He can rush the passer.
2nd and 12 for Hayden. And I think Hayden got the Giants moving. Pat going for broke. No good. Intended for Preston Denard, but you can figure that Hayden's cadence drew the Giants off.
Twice every game, he'll get a vital 5 yards. And here it is. And Hayden did the right thing. He went through with a play. Watch Pat's head and his voice. See him move his shoulders. Now, if he does too much of that, that's illegal, of course, but he's a master at it.
He had the Giant front line quivering like horses ready to come out of the starting gate, and they couldn't hold back and burst through. So on the offside penalty, it'll be moving the ball to about the 12-yard line. Now they're spot at the 17. So Hayden trying to keep a drive going. Cullen Bryant running into people and stacked up. Harry Carson hit him low, and then Dan Lloyd, Mendenhall, and Oldham. All of the Giants hammering him there.
Well, the Giant defense has stopped the Rams' running game very well. The only thing they've been hurt on is some passes to the right side of their defense, the right corner, Caldwell. Now the Giants are coming in with a nickel.
Charlie Young is coming in now on a 3rd and 7 from the 16. Charlie Young, number 86, and he'll go wide left. Terry Nelson, the other tight end, is on that side. And Hayden going across the middle to Tyler, no good. Defending was Otis McKinney.
He had him open. He threw it just a little bit behind him.
Tyler is 5'10", another inch or two, and he'd have been able to make the reception. He thought McKinney had a hand on him.
There he is.
So Frank Corral will be coming in to kick now. So the line of scrimmage is the 16. The hold will be at the 23, almost the 24. Well, let's call it a 34-yard field goal attempt for Frank Corral. Corral is 7 for 13 in field goals. His longest 49, and this one no good. And so Corral shaking his head, and the Rams have to be shaking their heads collectively and listen to the Wolves.
Yeah, when things go wrong, everything goes wrong.
So with 12:04 left to the half, 3-0 Giants. So the Giants are able to dodge a bullet as Frank Corral misses his field goal attempt. The Giants still leading 3-0, and they'll put it in play 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Phil Simms sending Ernest Gray wide right, Dwight Scales wide left, and Coder and Taylor the running back. Well, hello, Jack Youngblood. So Simms going through with the play and then throws it out of bounds. But Jack Youngblood.
When that happens, man, that's plain guessing. The defensive man is just guessing completely and hoping that he guesses correctly.
I guess for Youngblood, who has played 9 years in the NFL, he figured he could outguess the rookie quarterback, but it was a bad roll of the dice.
Number 85.
Sims did the right thing by going through with the play. You have nothing to lose on it.
Well, 1st and 5, and the ball moving out to the Giant 25-yard line. Sims is 1 for 6 for 5 yards. Second man, Billy Taylor. And he gets out across the 30 to the 32, and there's a flag on the play. Fred Dreyer tried to make an arm tackle right at the line of scrimmage, and you'll see 89. Watch Dreyer's arms, and watch Taylor just break the tackle. One arm is not enough, so it's see you later.
Did not come down the line sharp enough. He has what he terms a route called cut-off.
Offense, number 72, holding. First down.
However, Gordon King, who was just coming back, he had been banged up, and he was guilty of an infraction of holding. So it is 1st and 15. Remember, it was 1st and 5. Now it's 1st and 15 on the 15. Ernest Gray, wide right. Dwight Scales, who used to play here for the Rams, wide left. Billy Taylor bumping into the handoff, so they had a little mix-up back there. Sims and Billy Taylor. Taylor's been struggling. He's averaged less than 2 yards a carry in his last 2 games since that big game against Tampa Bay 3 weeks ago.
They need a big game for him today if they're going to stay in this football game and have a chance to win. Their offense is really struggling today.
2nd and 16 on the Giant 14-yard line. Coder and Taylor split behind Sims. And they're going to get him. Fred Dreyer drops him at about the 1-yard line.
There's the same dog. They've had 3 sacks with this dog. Actually, the term on the weak side is ox. The old man, the defensive end, goes outside. The linebacker comes inside. Now let's watch it. And they come to the blind side. Sims doesn't have a chance on it. You got to keep a back in there to block, or they're never going to get the ball off. And they run it with a nickel defense, which makes it even tougher because now you got that extra coverage.
So the Giants had it 1st and 10 on their own 20. Now they have it 3rd and 29 on their own 1. Billy Taylor across the 5 to about the 6-yard line. Andrews on top and Jack Youngblood on the bottom. So the Giants stymied. And Dave Jennings, 6 years out of St. Lawrence, coming in. Dave averaging a little better than 42 yards a punt. And his longest 59. So Jennings kicking from deep in the end zone. We'll see if the Rams try to put a block on. Brian Kelly is back there to pick up strays. And Jennings arrows one high. Eddie Brown retreating to his own 47. Being chased by Beasley Reese. Out of bounds he goes. Emery Moorhead was really drilled. Kevin McLean and Joe Harris just wiped Emery Moorhead right out on that return.
Jennings came through with a clutch punt.
So it is Giants 3-0 over the Rams. 10:08 to the half. Marie Busby wearing number 6 in a Ram uniform, competing in the NFL cheerleaders competition on CBS. But right now, the Rams competing against the Giants. 1st and 10 on the Giant 47. In motion is Ron Smith to the right. Pitch back to Bryant with Slater and Hara blocking. Jeter hit him and turned him back inside, and then the Giants buried him. Kelly and Carson making the tackle.
The Giants' defense is doing a real good job against the run. The Rams haven't hurt them at all. They've got them contained. They're adjusting well with motion. Tyler tries to cut back, and he's trapped up.
Cleveland leading St. Louis, as you saw, 38-20. 2nd and 9 on the 46. Denard goes left and Smith right. And Hayden's going to put it up. And threw it intended for Ron Smith. Terry Jackson right there to cover. The Rams are getting more boos. This crowd is really sullen today.
That last pass, the reason Pat overthrew him is that the receiver took too long to get adjusted on the route. And by the time Pat threw the ball, his back was still to him. So he overthrew him.
There's the crowd. And of course, the Rams heading for Anaheim, and after their last 2 weeks, the city almost ready to get rid of them, having been pounded by Dallas and San Diego. And this crowd is a little bit on the mutinous and sullen side. 3rd and 9 on the Giant 46. And Hayden going deep down the middle, intended for Wendell Tyler. And Otis McKinney broke it up, even though Terry Jackson thought it was a live ball. And there's going to be a flag on the play back on the 45-yard line.
Wendell was open on that. The ball was just a little bit underthrown. In this case, you refuse the penalty. You don't give him another shot.
Brian Kelly talking to Fred Silva, the referee. The Rams sending their kicking unit on the field.
Holding 73.
And the holding is against the newest Ram and the ex-Giant, Gordon Gravel. That's his second big holding penalty. Of course, it's surprising, George, that a man could join a club late in the week and start offensively.
It's very difficult. It's a tremendous handicap for the Rams.
4th and 9 on the 46 of the Giants, and Ken Clark, who has not punted well. Bobby Hammond standing on his own 11. And Clark angling for the sidelines, but doesn't get over there. A fair catch is called, and the ball hits on the 5 to the 2, and Elvis Peacock downs it at the 1. So Elvis Peacock, they won't let him carry the ball, so he chased it and fielded it at the Giant 1-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Giants on their own 1. A reminder, Monday night on CBS, The White Shadow, followed by MASH, WKRP in Cincinnati, and Lou Grant. It is 1st and 10 for the Giants on their own 1-yard line. Elvis Peacock of the Rams downing the Ken Clark punt, so there's more pressure on young Phil Simms. Taylor and Coder back of him. And it'll be Taylor, and he got out across the 5. A pretty good individual effort for Billy.
Yeah. That's a good sound play and blocking. The back leading through the hole. You know, Taylor looks like the type of back that could break one. They need, I'll repeat, they need a good game from him today to establish that run so that Simms can throw.
Taylor so far has carried 3 times for 6 yards. Ray Perkins coming up 38 in a week, hoping to pull off an upset here. It's 3-0 Giants, 8:38 to the half. Taylor again. And Reynolds stacking him up and brings him down shy of the 10-yard line. He got some help from Dave Elmendorf.
We used to ask our offense, 1 first down in this area. We have to have 1 first down so that we have field position later on. If you don't make 1 first down when you're coming out from the goal line, now you're really in trouble.
Well, Billy Taylor has gotten it to a 3rd and 2. The ball is on the 9-yard line. And they'll try Taylor yet again. And Taylor made the first down, I believe, from our angle. He has been able to pick it up. He did.
They got that 1 first down. Bill Austin, then, is their new line coach. He was with us in Washington. I think he's a fine coach. He teaches fundamentals, and sometimes we forget about fundamentals.
McCreary and Shirker on the left side. They have 2 tight ends plus Coder blocking, and flying over the middle was Billy Taylor for the first down. So 1st and 10 on the Giant 12. Ernest Gray wide right, Scales left. Simms looking for Coder, and he has him at the 15 to the 20, upended at the 22-yard line. Osteen knocking him out of bounds at the 21.
Now that's smart. That's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to let Simms throw in a running situation to take the pressure from that Ram defensive line. That's smart football right there. That's the way they have a chance to win this ball game or stay in it.
2nd and 1 on the Giant 21. They have to get to the 22 to pick up their second first down on this drive. 7:14 to the half. 3-0 Giants. Same formation. Scales left and Gray in motion now from the right. Dreyer can't get at him, and now does. Falling on it is Gordon King for the Giants on the 10-yard line. It looked like he was going to get rid of it, but it took too much time.
Too long. 2nd and 1. We used to have a rule. Don't be too smart. 2nd and 1. Get the first down. You're fighting for your life. Why take a chance to get a big play? Now they're 3rd and 11.
Too much time for a veteran like Fred Dreyer. He eats up after 11 years in the league. And so Sims on a 2nd and 1 is dumped for 10. That makes it 3rd and 11. The ball back on the Giant 11-yard line. Now the Rams trying to box him in. Justin will pick up Scales on the right side in a passing situation. Sims throwing it intended for Billy Taylor, but he was jammed by Bob Brzezinski, and that busted the play.
You know what bothered Sims? He's been dogged the last 3 times and sacked. This time, he had plenty of time to throw. More time than he expected.
Sims has been sacked 4 times for 41 yards as you look at Ray Perkins on your left and Ray Malavasi on your right. Malavasi, with his team having lost 2 straight, 4-4, fully conscious of the fact that New Orleans beat Washington today to go into first place in the NFC West. Jennings kicking from the end zone. Eddie Brown all alone at midfield. Eddie Brown, a fair catch at the 47-yard line. Interesting, Eddie Brown has called for a fair catch now in 6 of his last 8 punts received, which is tribute to the kicking in the NFL. 3-0 Giants. 3-0 Giants, 6:12 left in the half. However, the Giants have been playing with dynamite. The Rams have had good field position now. The last 4 times they've gotten the ball.
You know, a good call in here, Ben, would be a play-action pass deep on the right corner because they're struggling. You need a big play.
All right, Hayden will send Denard wide left, Smith right. Nelson is the tight end on the right side, and they're going all the way with Bryant and Tyler. On a roll, Hayden is looking down the right side, and he has his tight end, Terry Nelson, and Nelson is ridden out of bounds by Harry Carson. So they pick up the first down. Big play to the tight end.
He went play action with a full rollout, hitting Terry Nelson on the crossing pattern. Good call.
So Terry Nelson picks up 22 yards on that pass play. It is 1st and 10 on the Giant 25. 6 minutes and 6 seconds to the half. Malavasi wants a touchdown and pronto. Here comes Cullen Bryant, and he backs across the 20-yard line. George, I don't know if you know the parlance of the Giants plays, but just before that call, most of us could actually hear Brian Kelly, the linebacker on the right side, hollering, Willie, Willie, Willie.
Willie means W is for weak side, and it means that the weak linebacker and the weak defensive end take an inside charge. I for inside, W for weak. And they had the right call, but the Rams ran right into it and picked up good yardage.
So we'll see if we can hear Kelly some other time, but that time it was sure evident. 2nd and 4 on the 19, and it's Wendell Tyler stacked up and driven back. I think he got it down to the 16-yard line.
You know, you mentioned stacked up. When the play is stacked up like that, Wendell's at his best. He's a spontaneous runner. He's got the speed and quickness to turn a broken play into a long gainer.
So they'll spot the ball just shy of the 15-yard line. Remember, the Rams started 1st and 10 on the Giant 47. Frank Corral is loosening up. He might be called on, of course, as far as he's concerned, for a point after. He's already missed 1 field goal attempt. Charlie Young coming in now, 7 years out of USC. The Rams calling a timeout. Tampa Bay has just defeated Minnesota 12-10. Just get that report as Pat Hayden goes to the sidelines to talk to Ray Malavasi. 3rd and 1 from the 16. Any guesses, George?
Get the first down. You're struggling. You're behind. Don't try to get the touchdown. Play sound football. Don't defeat yourself. Don't be too smart. You got 3rd and inches. Give the ball to your best back. Straight ahead, Cullen Bryant. He's a safe, sound runner. He has 2 hands on the ball. Get the first down. Then from Then from there, think about the touchdown.
And, of course, for Phil Simms, the counterpart of Pat Hayden, he has to remember he had it 2nd and 1 on the Giant 21 and went for a slow developing play and was sacked. And as the young blonde stands on the sideline, he'd love to have that play over again, 2nd and 1, but he didn't. They had to give up the football, and now the Rams are on the move. 3rd and 1 from the 16. We have 4 minutes and 54 seconds to the half. The Giants on a 49-yard field goal by Joe Dinello, leading the Rams 3-0. And there you see Frank Corral, number 3, Nolan Cromwell, number 21. They might be called in. 3rd and 1 from the 16. Cullen Bryant, the powerhouse, hit first by John Mendenhall, and it would appear he picked up the first down.
And that's what they did, and if you see it again, Cullen Bryant has 2 hands on that football. He makes a little veer, and I watch him protect that ball. Both hands over the end of the ball. No mistakes. Good call, good execution.
Picked up about 2 yards on the carry, so it's 1st and 10 on the Giant 14-yard line. 4:20 left to the half. A slot left with Smith inside Denard. Terry Nelson, who's made one big reception, is the tight end on the right side. And Hayden's going to put it up. Hesitates, punts once, juggled, and intercepted by Brian Kelly. And Kelly at the 15, at the 20, and wrestled down at the 20-yard line by Jackie Slater.
Hayden had enough time to eat a sandwich. He had so much time to throw the ball. Let's see it again. Look at the time he has to throw.
He was going to have a completed pass, but it was juggled.
Should have been completed.
Preston Denard.
Yeah.
And there's Kelly. Has anybody here seen Kelly? There he goes.
Kelly's in the right spot at the right time. Smart football. That Giant defense is playing overtime and doing a heck of a job. Ralph Hawkins is the coordinator, defensive coordinator, and he's done a fine job installing his system of defense. Boy, that was a big play for the Giants.
Big play indeed for Pat Hayden. That is the 11th interception, and Brian Kelly paid the price. Oldham helping him off the field. Kelly was hit some awful licks, particularly by Jackie Slater.
They can't afford to lose him.
And, of course, the Rams coming off a game last week where they had 8 turnovers to San Diego. Now they have a big turnover on the interception by Brian Kelly. 1st and 10 Giants from their own 20-yard line. Coder and Taylor slot left, and now Scales in motion. Simms just did get by Jack Reynolds. Going deep for Coder. Coder has it. Coder has it at the 43.
I tell you what, this is a great play by Simms. He's rushed, gets away from Reynolds. Now watch the delivery sack. Now Coder takes that ball away and makes a heck of a catch.
Dave Elmendorf was there, and now you can watch Simms pay a price.
Yeah, watch the delivery sack on Simms after he throws the ball. Bang. Great play by Coder, great play by Simms. Big play all the way.
On the heels of the Kelly interception, so that moves the ball to the Rams' 44-yard line where it's 1st and 10. Simms going in the air again, high and long, intended for Scales, no good. Nolan Cromwell was right there with him, and the ball was underthrown.
Yes, it was. You know, Nolan Cromwell worked a little bit in training camp at the right corner, Ben. He's at a disadvantage over there. He's a good athlete, has size and speed, and that's smart football, going to work at a guy who hasn't played that position.
So Ray Perkins studying his chart. Ray, the 11th head coach in the Giants' history. Cleveland defeating St. Louis 38-20. That's a final.
You know, I'm surprised they haven't run a screen in here. The way the Rams are rushing, a screen would be a good counter for this good rush.
Simms has completed 3 passes, 2 of them to Coder for 51 yards. And it's a draw to Coder. And he's inside the 40.
Good call. Same type of counter. When they're rushing like that, you've got to cut that rush down with a screen or a draw.
7 yards, 3rd and 3.
So it's a gain of 7, and that makes it 3rd and 3. The ball is on the Ram 37-yard line. So Doug Coder, he's the man to keep an eye on him.
Yes, he's a good all-purpose back. Jack Reynolds is back in the lineup again.
3rd and 3 from the 37. Scales left and Gray right. Second man, Billy Taylor, and they bunch him up, and then with a great effort, he breaks through, and he's awfully close to the first down. He picks it up.
Good. What you said is right. Good second effort by Taylor. He was stopped, and he kept driving. That's that M. Hunch play, the back leading through the hole.
Malavasi had some smoke coming out of his ears. He was so angry on that second burst. So we've got 2 minutes to the half. The Giants leading the Rams 3-0, and the Giants following the deception on the move. 1st and 10 for the Giants on the Ram 33-yard line. 2 minutes to the half, and the Giants leading 3-0 as they go slot right. In motion now is Dwight Scales. Coder staying in the block, and there's nobody there. Youngblood and Dreyer, and it looked like Sims just intentionally downed the ball.
You know, it's a good call by the officials. He did. He intentionally grounded the football out. It's, again, what we talked about at the top of the show, the ability of the Giants, or lack of ability of the Giants' offensive line to counter that good rush by the Rams.
There's Brian Kelly. Remember, he was shaken up following the interception. The report is he's okay and will play. Brad Van Pelt, the linebacker on the left side, number 10, suffered bruised ribs, and Van Pelt will be held out at least for the remainder of this half and will be used sparingly.
They're going to have to throw quick passes, use counters to slow this rush down.
2nd and 20 from the Ram 43. Sims is going to start to run, and he's tripped up on deck with flags flying. Fred Dreyer brought him down at the 40-yard line.
It's taking too long to develop, then. He's not going to have that type of time. It's holding on the Giants again.
Well, you were saying before the ball game that a tip-off is to look at a quarterback's feet and also the arm length when he passes.
How fast he sets up in his delivery. The
offense, number 72, holding.
Sims is a fine prospect. He has to try to improve his release, get rid of the ball a little quicker, work on his footwork to set up faster. You aren't going to have that protection that you would hope for.
So 1 minute, the Giants had it 1st and 10 on the Ram 33. Now they have it 2nd and 30 on their own 47. And a draw to Coder. And Coder is across the 45 with Andrews bringing him down at the 44-yard line of the Rams.
Well, that's what they have to do. That was an excellent call. The Rams went to a 34 defense that time and just came in with 3 people.
The Doug Coder, the workhorse, has carried 7 times for 23 yards, and he has caught 3 passes for 51 yards. And it's 3rd and 21 for Sims, of course. He'd like to at least get into field goal range, if nothing else, while holding onto the ball at the same time. Now we have Johnny Perkins wide right. The Giants in a slot left. Gray inside Scales. And Sims is going to take off with Gary Shirk trying to block. And there he goes to the 20 and gets out of bounds. And it'll be a first down. And Bob Brzezinski chased him out of bounds, and Ray Malavasi is fit to be tied.
Great play by Sims. I don't know whether we can see it, but he used his blocker. He went back, was rushed out of the pocket.
Gary Shirk, the tight end, helped him out.
Watch him use his blocker. Faked in and then went outside, got the first down, and then got out of bounds and not take a pounding. Never mind the extra yard or 2. Protect yourself. You got the first down.
So Ray Perkins has to be delighted with the progress of his young quarterback. It is 1st and 10 on the Ram 19. So the Giants had it 1st and 10 on the Ram 33. They were driven all the way back to their own 47, and they moved all the way back now to the Ram 19. Next week, the NFL doubleheaders. Dallas versus the Giants, Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Washington, Pittsburgh, Minnesota at St. Louis. The second game of the doubleheader, Los Angeles at Seattle, Detroit, Chicago, New Orleans, Denver, and San Francisco, Oakland. Consult your local listings for the games and time in your area. Some cities will only see a single game due to the NFL blackout policy. So don't forget, all the action begins with the NFL Today show with Brent, Jane, Herb, Jimmy, and Jack. Ray Perkins talking to Phil Simms, and they tell us when Perkins went looking for a quarterback, he was still young and strong enough to actually run his own patterns, and he liked the way Phil Simms threw to him and said, "You're my man."
I don't know whether these stats are correct, but we got Simms carrying for 53 yards on 2 carries.
Which would be more yardage on the ground by the quarterback than the Rams. They have a total of 48 yards
That's unbelievable. Here's a final. Baltimore upset New England 31-26. Burt Jones coming back.
So Phil Simms giving the Rams a bad time. And on the other side of the coin, Pat Hayden very frustrated, along with an angry Ray Malavasi. Joe Danello, who got the Giants on the scoreboard with a 49-yard field goal, waiting to see if they need him. 1st and 10 on the 19. Simms with his backs going out. And he's in the end zone. Touchdown! Gary Shirk, the tight end, beating Jack Reynolds, the middle linebacker.
You know why? Jack Reynolds had his back turned. Jack Reynolds has his back turned, doesn't see the ball. Simms threads the needle. Now watch this. Shirk watches the ball all the way. Reynolds has his back turned. Didn't see it. Good call. Excellent. Here it is again. Reynolds going back, covering the tight end because there's double coverage on the wide receivers. Jack doesn't see the ball.
And for Gary Shirk, his first touchdown reception of the year. It is 9-0 Giants. And Danello's kick will make it 10-0 New York. And so the Giants, who had last beaten Los Angeles in 1961 at Yankee Stadium, the same Giants who had lost 6 straight to the Rams, the same Giants who have only won 4 of 17 meetings with Los Angeles, they're leading the Rams 10-0 with 53 seconds to go to the half.
And Phil Simms deserves the credit for that drive. He did it on his own.
So the Giants, who had the NFC's poorest third down offense, the Giants who ranked 13 in the NFC in ball control. In fact, they have been holding the ball only a little bit longer than Green Bay, which has the lowest average, but it's been the Giants holding the ball for the first half and leading the Rams 10-0. Ray Perkins talking to Phil Simms, and for Simms, that was his 5th touchdown pass of the year. Set up on his own great scramble. Drew Hill goes deep as Joe Danello tees it up. Eddie Hill will be on his right, and Elvis Peacock will be on his left as Perkins continues to hold on the job training for Phil Simms. And it's paying off. Joe Danello kicking off, and the deep man Drew Hill will take it on the 3 to the 15. And he is hit by Marion and felted by Caldwell. Marion, number 51, Frank Marion, 3 years out of Florida A&M.
I played in the World Football League, very physical. In fact, I tried to sign him with the Redskins. When you run across the field like that, very difficult to get any yardage. You're better off to come up the gut or up the middle. And
14-yard run.
you can't pick all those blockers off.
There's the numbers on the Giants scoring drive. 8 plays, 80 yards, took a little over 3 minutes, culminating on the 19-yard touchdown pass Simms to the tight end Gary Shirk. Hayden hungry for points. Deep down the middle, and it's complete to Ron Smith, and as he drilled by Oldham at the 32,
and there's a
flag on the play. And preliminary signal, it's against the Rams.
Holding against the Rams. You know, the Rams aren't playing with any confidence today. Did you get that feeling also?
I don't know if it's a lack of confidence or just sluggish or just what it is, but for instance, on that particular play, it didn't look like Hayden had any inordinate amount of time, and yet they were holding immediately.
Let's see who it's on.
Offense, number 73, holding.
Well, it's ironic. That's the 3rd time the holding call has been against Gordon Gravel, who just came to the Rams from the Giants.
Maybe we can get a matchup on one of these succeeding downs. between Gravel and Jeter.
1st and 18 on the Ram 8-yard line. Hayden stringing them out now. A slot right. Denard inside Smith. Hayden over the middle to Denard. Beasley Reese is going to run him out of bounds inside the 15, and it'll be marked at the 14-yard line.
Well, here it is. Here's Gravel now. Here he's pushing Jeter outside. Pushes him as he goes beyond him.
12 yards to go.
That was a quick pass. Underneath pattern, so Pat didn't have much time to throw. Didn't need much time to throw.
So it is 2nd and 12 from the 14-yard line. And we have 32 seconds to the half. Hayden scrambling, and his arm is deflected by Mendenhall, and the pass goes awry. Hayden almost had his right arm torn out of its socket by John Mendenhall.
They ran a stunt. The Giants ran a stunt.
Mendenhall
Came around and hit Pat just as he tried to release the ball.
And, of course, Hayden, who was sacked 6 times last week and really took a pounding, I'm sure his body is still sore from the San Diego Chargers.
And that's smart defensive football to run stunts against linemen that have not been playing together.
So it is 3rd and 12 on the 14. Drew Hill is wide left, and Hayden under a little pressure throws to Smith, who takes it out of bounds about 2.5 yards shy of a first down. Terry Jackson over there to defend. For Hayden, he was 5 for 12, so that makes him 6 for 13. And with 15 seconds left to the half, there'll be timeout down on the field. Halftime scores: Miami 13, Green Bay nothing, and halftime Cincinnati 24, Philadelphia 3. In the second quarter, we understand the Bears are now out in front. Walter Payton just won 7 yards for a touchdown, and the Bears are leading San Francisco 14-10.
In this situation, you have one thing to do: go for a block punt. There's 15 seconds on the clock. Gamble, go for a block punt.
Would you even punt under those circumstances?
Well, I'd try to draw them offside. I'd go in a long count, try to draw them offside.
So it's 4th and 2. The ball is just inside the 25-yard line. They marked it at the 24. And with 15 seconds to the half, the Giants have surprised and somewhat shocked the Rams, leading them 10-0 on a 49-yard field goal by Dinello. Deep for the Giants: Bobby Hammond, number 33, Beasley Reese, number 28. And it is kicked to the right side to Bobby Hammond, and he fumbles and falls down, picks it up and gets out of bounds. And we have 5 seconds left for the Giants to still put in a play.
Well, he's off balance. He's going backwards. Had his feet crossed. The ball was fading. They did not go for a block punt. They had the return on.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Giants. They spot the ball on the Giant 39-yard line. Just enough time for one play. What do you do? Fall on the ball or go for a bomb?
Bomb to Gray.
All right, bomb to Gray.
Keep 7 blockers in. Get the ball off.
Ernest Gray on the right side. Dwight Scales on the left, but they're going to give to Taylor, and he's out across the 45. We have 1 second left to the half. And evidently, there will not be any more time the way the crowd is reacting. Dinello is coming in with 1 second left to the half. So Joe Dinello has just enough time.
Boy,
this would be out of sight. Again, we repeat about Dinello last year.
This is risky.
He kicked 2 out of 3 beyond the 50.
This is really risky. You have a tendency to kick a line drive here.
The spot will be at the 39 of the Giants. The kick is up, and it is going to be fielded by Eddie Brown at the 1, to the 15, to the 20. Dan Lloyd and Gary Shirk box him in and bring him down at the 20. And Joe Dinello trying a field goal that was enough to shake up the Coliseum. Trying to kick one more than 60 yards. And the Giants are fortunate they weren't burned on a gamble. This, meanwhile, was the touchdown, a 19-yard pass from Phil Simms to his tight end Gary Shirk, beating middle linebacker Jack Reynolds.
And that's tough coverage for Jack Reynolds. Very tough.
So it's at halftime at the Coliseum. The Giants 10 and the Rams. The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. Well, welcome to the start of the second half. Vin Scully along with George Allen from the Coliseum. Temperature about 70 degrees right now. And the Giants even hotter than that. They're leading 10-0. That's Ray Perkins on your left, Ray Malavasi on your right. And the kickoff bouncing to Bobby Hammond at the 2, to the 15, to the 20, and to the 24-yard line, where the Giants will put it in play, 1st and 10.
Let's watch Doss, Reggie Doss, come down and take on the blocker. Come in and make the tackle. Good play by Reggie Doss, defensive end.
So 1st and 10, Giants on their own 24-yard line and leading 10-0. Scales left and Gray right. Coder and Taylor behind Simms. Billy Taylor over the left side. Brzezinski stacks him up at about the 27-yard line. And Pat Hayden shut out in the first half. Very anxious to get his hands on the leather.
Then I think Pat can throw on the Giants defense. I think they're going to have to throw to win. The first half was really Simms's running ability to pick up vital yardage and the great job by the Giant defense.
That's a backup quarterback for Hayden today, Jeff Rutledge, a rookie out of Alabama. 2nd and 7 on the 27-yard line for the Giants. Simms to Taylor. And Taylor may be buying a yard or two at most. He tried to follow a block by Van Horn, but it wasn't there. Jack Youngblood made the tackle.
The Giants need Kelly and Van Pelt in there on defense the second half. They were shaken up.
So the Giants scoring on a 49-yard field goal by Joe Danello on a 19-yard touchdown pass from Simms to his tight end Gary Shirk. Now they have a 3rd and 6. There's Joe Danello looking on. Simms trying to get away from Fred Dreyer. Now throwing back across the field, and all alone is Dwight Scales, the ex-Ram. Scales running laterally to the 35. Chasing him is Osteen to the 30, down at the 22-yard line. Sid Justin, Bob Brzezinski, Nolan Cromwell bringing him to earth.
This is the type of play that you can't defense. This is all Phil Simms. He scrambles away from Fred Dreyer, who has good speed. Now he drills the ball way across the field. He was hit as he threw the ball. And now here's Dwight Scales putting on an exhibition of broken field running. Big play by Phil Simms. What a job he's doing today.
And for Dwight Scales, 4 years out of Grambling, enough to really infuriate Ray Malavasi as the ex-Ram has come home to haunt him. 1st and 10 from the Ram 17. Billy Taylor on an end around, giving it to Ernest Gray, and Gray gets back to the 24. Brzezinski slams him down, and they lose some yardage on the play.
Then that's an example of being too smart. You aren't going to fool a real good defensive team, especially guys like Fred Dreyer, who are good upfield, and Brzezinski. They were lucky not to lose more yardage than that.
And again, we should point out, as we have been pointing out all day, that Ray Perkins sends in the plays. So it is not only a rookie quarterback, but it's a rookie NFL coach. And he sent in a jackpot play, and he went busted with it. So they lose 7. 2nd and 17 on the 24. In motion is Billy Taylor. A draw to Coder. And Coder is picked up at the 20-yard line. At the bottom is Jim Youngblood and Jack Reynolds. On the top, Larry Brooks.
Well, that's a good call. Anything that counters the rush of the Rams. The Rams rush the passer as well as anybody in football. Dreyer, Youngblood, Fanning, Brooks.
So it is 3rd and 13 on the Ram 20-yard line. Remember, they had it 1st and 10 on the 17. But then that end around went down the drain. Perkins wide right and Scales left. Perkins in motion. Sims getting some heat, delivers, and it's dropped. Scales had it and let it get away, and a flag on the play.
Scales was feeling or hearing footsteps coming across. Let's see if we can see it. He's not looking that ball in. He came across a little timid there. Ball was thrown right in there. He had a first down.
There wasn't anybody close to him. Cromwell was a good 5 yards away, and so was Sid Justin. Of course, it's one thing for a fellow who's accustomed to going deep on a post to suddenly be asked to get across the middle.
Yeah.
That's tough territory.
Good point. Very few receivers like to come across the middle. That's when you get pounded. That's when you get hit. Charlie Taylor and Roy Jefferson were two of the best of all time.
Offense, personal foul, 74, tripping.
That's the veteran Tom Neville. So 1 minute, the Giants had it 1st and 10 on the Rams 17 after that electrifying play from Phil Simms to Dwight Scales. But now they're going backwards. You can watch Simms just about as he is ready to release. Watch 74. Watch him stick his leg out. See that? There you have the
left leg
personal
out,
foul.
tripped him.
So Tom Neville, guilty of the illegal trip.
That's his experience. That's what you learn after 12, 14 years.
So for Phil Simms, the rookie out of Moorhead State, and leading the Rams 10-0, Simms is 5 for 14 for 125 yards and 1 touchdown. 1 pass to Dwight Scales went for 55 of those yards, and 3 passes to Doug Coder went for 51. As far as the Giants running, no one has done much. Coder 25 yards, Taylor 32, but Simms has carried twice for 52 yards.
It's his spontaneous plays that have made the difference. His 2 big runs, and then his transcontinental pass over here to Scales that put him in field goal position. See, what they don't want to do now is get another loss and get out of field goal. They should try to come out of this with at least 3 points. Don't take a chance on something and get a sack or an interception.
It'll be the big play now for Simms. So from 1st and 10 on the 17, the ball is back on the Ram 30-yard line, where it's 3rd down and about 23. In motion is Perkins. Over the middle to Perkins. And he's at the 15-yard line, spun around by Eddie Brown to the 14-yard line.
Same type of play, Ben, except it was the flanker coming in motion and coming down underneath.
So they picked up 16 yards, but that's not nearly enough. He got away from Osteen, and here comes Eddie Brown.
Yeah, that's Osteen's coverage, man for man. He has to stay right with him, but by being in motion, the defensive back loses position on the flanker.
So Dinello will be asked to kick his 2nd field goal. The hold will be at the 21. So it's a 31-yard field goal attempt by Dinello, who hit from 49 earlier. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And so the Giants are leading the Rams 13-0. with 10 minutes and 18 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Joe Dinello ready to kick off for New York, leading the Rams 13-0. Deep for Los Angeles is Drew Hill, and he has to go even deeper. And he's not going to run it out.
Dinello. He kicked that. He almost kicked it out of the end zone.
Joe Dinello really thumping it. There you have the Giants scoring drive, the key play, a 55-yard pass play from Phil Simms to Dwight Scales, capped by the 31-yard field goal by Dinello. 6 plays, 46 yards.
Then I don't see Van Pelt in there.
Van Pelt, who suffered bruised ribs, and they said they were going to use him sparingly. Scorpan is in there now, along with Lloyd, Carson, and Kelly. 1st and 10 on the 20. Smith in motion. Hayden with Bryant leaving the backfield, and he's passing to Terry Nelson, who drops the pass. It's picked up by Beasley Reese. Incomplete pass. For Pat Hayden, he came in here with the 7th offensive club in the NFC, and they have picked up only 68 yards. And there is Dwight Scales, who made the key reception on that busted play with Phil Simms. There is Brad Van Pelt, and the report is he will not play anymore.
Well,
he leaves with bruised ribs. He's not coming back.
He's a fine football player and a good person. They're going to miss him. I hope he's not injured seriously.
Let's drop the other shoe on that. He will not play anymore today. Hayden looking, throwing on the run, low, but he's got his man, Preston Denard, at the 42-yard line, and they pick up a first down.
Well, Ben, I think we said earlier that Pat can throw against the Giant defense. That pass was on number 46, Caldwell. They're going to have to stop the passing game. They're going to have to dog him a little bit and put a little pressure on him. He's got too much time.
So first and 10 on the Ram 42-yard line. Hayden slipped momentarily, then lobs it right into the hands of Harry Carson. Carson at the 40, to the 35, to the 30, and down he goes. Flag on the play. Hayden's back foot slipped as he went to set up, and it's going to be then a floater to Carson, and let's wait for the call.
Well, it's a clip, I believe, on the run back. Let's see what he called. It's a Giants ball regardless.
Giant ball after the possession foul. So Carson intercepts the Giants clip, and it's a Giant ball on their own 49.
On the run back, personal foul, clipping, number 70, first down.
But the Carson intercept all started when Pat Hayden's right foot went out from under him. Then he tried to ease off the pass and floated it over Wendell Tyler's head into the hands of Harry Carson. So it is first and 10 on the Giant 49. Second man, Taylor, spinning nowhere. He probably lost a yard and a half.
The Ram defense dogged. They came in with 6 men on that play. It's a good defensive strategy, whether it's a run or a pass. They're going to have to start going for the ball and taking some chances now.
So second and 11 on the Giant 48. 2 field goals by Danilo, a 19-yard touchdown pass, and now Harry Carson receiving the congratulations of his teammates for a big interception. Second and 11 on the 48. Over the middle, no good. Intended for Billy Taylor coming out of the backfield. Jim Youngblood had picked him up.
Yeah, he had him open, but the ball was thrown a little hard and low with the nose of the ball down. That's a tough catch.
Well, it'll be third and 11 from the 48.
But they had the right approach, putting the back on the linebacker on Jim Youngblood.
Simms, 6 for 16, 141 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So Simms, 23 years old, 6'3", 216 out of Morehead State. Perkins in motion. And Simms going deep for Billy Taylor. No good. It was juggled off the hand of Elmendorf, and then Taylor juggled and couldn't hold on to it.
And there's a flag.
Jack Youngblood is standing by the flag. I don't know whether it was a late hit or not. We'll see. In fact, there are several flags in the backfield.
Offensive holding, defense, personal foul, offset, replay, third down.
Well, the offsetting penalties, offensive holding by a Giant lineman trying to buy time for Simms, a personal foul against a Ram. So they offset, and it will be
a lot of holding penalties today.
So it's still third down and 11. Phil Simms squinting over through the sunshine today to get the call from Ray Perkins. There's the head coach. Split end under Bear Bryant at Alabama. Perkins wide right. Scales wide left. Shirk is on the right side. On a dog, he's able to get away from Fanning, and he hits Coder, and Coder barely holding on to the ball. Van Horn flying over to throw a block on Nolan Cromwell at the last moment. Well, when you're out there, you better be ready.
Yeah, they're putting pressure on him. His best play is when they dog him or put the pressure on him, and he turns it into a spontaneous play that turns out pretty good for the Giants.
Van Horn come barreling into Cromwell, trying to block for a fallen teammate. 4th and 6 on the 47, and Dave Jennings will be kicking. Deep is Eddie Brown. And it's a fake kick and a pass back to Jennings. And Jennings takes a tremendous lick as he goes out of bounds.
Well,
and Dave Jennings really hit.
Ben, you're ahead 13-0. You got the game pretty well under control. To take a chance on something like that is a real gamble. Plus, you may lose your good punter. That's quite a gamble. That's a break. They pass the ball to the short man.
That's Brian Kelly.
He throws it back to Jennings. The Rams weren't fooled. And he gets the wood put to him right here.
And he did not make the first down, so it's Ram ball on the 44. Philadelphia coming off a drubbing at the hands of Washington last week, and Cincinnati administering the same today. 27-6 in the third. Well, it's 1st and 10 Rams on their own 44. A daring gamble by Perkins backfired. Hayden on a rollout, looking down the right side, and he's got Terry Nelson, who was knocked out of bounds at the 37-yard line by Oldham. That's enough for a first down, and Perkins and the Giants might rue that busted play.
The Rams have to take advantage of the field position now and go in and score. If they do, that could be the turning point in this ball game. That was a real gamble by the Giants.
Applause in the background. We have seen Elvis Peacock downing punts, number 34. Now he's in the ball game offensively with Wendell Tyler. Elvis Peacock, the number 1 draft choice of the Rams out of Oklahoma. Hayden rolling and passing complete to Wendell Tyler, and he is hit by Otis McKinney, but he also picks up the first down at the 26-yard line, and the Rams are on the move.
The Rams like to screen. This is a good play. They're flooding the zone. Ball just thrown over Carson's hand. The Rams like to screen to Peacock.
And Ray Perkins still thinking, I'm sure, about the gamble of the snap to Kelly, the pass to Jennings, the fake kick, and it all blew up in his face. 1st and 10 on the Giant 26. Here goes Wendell Tyler, and he gets to about the 23-yard line.
22-yard line. For gain of 4.
So to pick up a 4, make it 2nd and 6. They'll spot it on the 22. Wendell Tyler not only leads the Rams in rushing, he's the only player on the team to catch a pass in all 8 games. He gained 79 yards against the Chargers last week.
And he was carrying that ball very loosely.
He is now carried for 20 yards today. 2nd and 6 from the 22. Denard left and Smith right. Pitch back to Elvis Peacock. And he is stacked up on the right side. Brian Kelly turned the play in. Mendenhall also helped in turning it.
See, from the Rams' standpoint right now, every player on the field has to be thinking, we have to score here, even if it's just a field goal, to get back in this ball game. We got to take advantage of the field position we have. That's the mentality they have to have.
You know, the last time the Rams lost 3 in a row was way back in 1972. And the Giants trying to beat him 3 straight. Eddie Hill is in there now. There's a pass to Eddie Hill. He's got it to the 10, to the 5. He's gone. What a block by Ron Smith on Terry Jackson. Oh, Ron Smith, the wide receiver, came back to flatten Terry Jackson, and that sprung Hill for the touchdown.
Sure did. And the Giants dogged. The Giants went after Hayden. They're in there scot-free. He got the ball off in a hurry, did a good job. One-on-one with the linebacker, and there's a block by Ron Smith.
So the touchdown to Eddie Hill.
Well,
and again,
here it is again. See them dogging. They had a delivery sack. They missed Van Pelt on that play, I'll tell you that.
So the kick is up and good. And it's a rejuvenated Ram team now that is within striking distance of taking a lead. We have 5:10 left in the third quarter. The Giants 13 and the Rams 7. Big Doug France down with an injury to his right leg, and while they minister to Doug, it gives us a chance to look at that quick touchdown pass from Pat Hayden to Eddie Hill, who had just come in. Hill beating the linebacker Scorpan and then getting the big block from Ron Smith. Watch that right there on Terry Jackson. Just lights out for Terry. And into the end zone goes Eddie Hill.
Well, that's tough coverage for number 57 Scorpan. When you're all alone, one-on-one on a guy like Eddie Hill who has speed and quickness, very difficult to cover him.
So you can see 5 plays. Doug France has an ailing right arm. In fact, he said he couldn't start. His arm is so bad he can't block. But he was in there on the touchdown pass and injured his right leg. Eddie Hill is little known. The man who just scored for the Rams, a rookie out of Memphis State, who runs the 40 in 4.6. And he showed a little burst of speed. Corral kicking off now to the Giants. Bobby Hammond will take it on the 4. To the 15, to the 20. To the 25, spun around, and down he goes at the 27-yard line. Andrews and Justin hitting him and dropping him at the 27. So Bobby Hammond brings it up, and now the Giants take over.
Well, Hayden took advantage of the field position he's had for the first time today, and now we got a new ball game. Rams are back in here.
The Giants have to worry about losing the momentum. On that one gamble that backfired, the Rams immediately marched and went for the touchdown. 1st and 10 on the Giant 27. Doug Coder, and he is stacked up. The Youngbloods, both Jim and Jack, are there, along with half the Ram team. So Phil Simms, who is 8 for 18 for 149 yards and 1 touchdown, trying to generate a drive. Ray Wersching has just kicked a 19-yard field goal. San Francisco out in front of the Bears 20-14, 8.5 minutes left in the third quarter. 2nd and 8 on the 29. In motion is Perkins. They pitch back to Taylor. Neville and Coder blocking, and maybe he got 1 or 2 yards. He got out to about the 32. Both Neville and Coder trying to block, but there were just too many blue shirts over there.
Except for 3 broken plays, the Rams defense has played excellent football today. Now here comes the nickel in.
Eddie Brown coming in and Jack Reynolds going out. Sid Justin is in there now. It is a 3rd down play, 3rd and 6 on the 31. Dreyer's got him, and Dreyer ran over Brad Benson.
Now watch this replay. Watch Fred Dreyer use his quickness in getting off on the ball, and they run a stunt. Dreyer goes first, beats his man to the inside, and Brooks comes around behind him.
Brad Benson didn't quite know what to do. He's a 2-year man out of Penn State, and Dreyer just fooled Benson, turned him around, and made the sack. So it's 4th and 13. Jennings will have to punt. 13-7 Giants. Eddie Brown fielding it on the 31 and is buried by Otis McKinney. McKinney was able to run by the block of Drew Hill to wipe him out.
It's a wonder Eddie didn't fumble that ball. Great coverage by Otis McKinney.
Tonight on CBS, catch a brand new edition of 60 Minutes. Then Building Pains hit Archie Bunker's plays, followed by One Day at a Time and Alice. The laughs continue on the Jefferson. And Pernell Roberts stars as Trapper John M.D. That's all on CBS tonight.
Well, Ben, the momentum has changed. I think Hayden can throw in the Giants. He's got good enough protection. Big series coming up.
1st and 10 from the Ram 30. Peacock is in there with Tyler. And Jeter jumped off, then got back, but a flag is thrown. Hayden down the middle, and it's deflected and falls harmlessly. And it would appear as if Gary Jeter, number 70, was guilty of the infraction.
Pat's cadence fooled him again. He gets 2 every game. He'll pull the defense offside. He does it more with the inflection in his voice than with his head and shoulders, which of course is illegal. You can't bob your head. Oh, he called it against the Rams.
So illegal procedure against the Rams, and that's what drew Gary Jeter off. So a 5-yard penalty tacked against the Rams, moving the ball back to the 25-yard line.
Left tackle, false start, first down.
And it would be the left side of the Ram line, Jackie Slater, who made the false start. So it's 1st and 15 from the Ram 25. 13-7 Giants. 3:05 left in the 3rd quarter. Second man, Wendell Tyler. He has Kent Hill blocking. And Wendell Tyler dragged down by Mendenhall, and he's gone.
I don't know whether we can see that again, but the block by the tight end handled number 57, Scorpion. Watch that block.
There's Kent Hill. He's going to get hurt on it, number
Right
72.
there.
Watch this. He's going to hit Beasley Reese, and Hill is shaken up.
See, the strong side linebacker has to stop that play. He's got to get across the line of scrimmage.
So to the Ram 42, they picked up 17 yards, and it's 1st and 10. Pitch back this time to Elvis Peacock, but Kelly has him, and Kelly brings him down as he gets back to about the 42, the line of scrimmage.
Brian Kelly made the stop.
Miami breezing over Green Bay, 27-7 in the 3rd. And of course the headline in Miami was that Greasy's through, but if he's playing, it doesn't look that way. Cincinnati ripping up Philadelphia now, 34-6 in the 3rd. And 20-0 Denver in the Orange Crush trying to shut out Kansas City. They haven't recovered from that giant loss. Fumble! And Hayden picks it up and falls back to the line of scrimmage at best.
That happens when you try to go on a quick count. You try to go on sound. Pat never had the ball. The center sometimes blocks before he snaps the ball back. The timing is off. Pat did a good job to recover.
The 2 tackles, actually it was a tackle and a guard, bumping heads on that play. Eddie Hill is now in there. He's the one who scored the touchdown. Hill and Peacock. 3rd and 10 from the 42. And Hayden just to Charlie Young. And it's a fair catch, or is it no? Fair catch, they're indicating. He was able to catch it before it hit the grass. And it's a 1st down Ram.
Well, Charlie made a good catch. The ball's thrown real low. Watch this. Let's take another angle of it. Yeah, he has it. Good catch. Big play. Keeps the drive going.
So from the Ram 25, they've moved to the Giant 45. 1st and 10. Denard left. Drew Hill is right. And it'll be Eddie Hill. And Eddie Hill across the 40, spinning to the 36-yard line. Not quite enough for a 1st down, but a big chunky yardage.
They're running the left side, Ben, aren't they? They're pounding that left side. They miss Van Pelt in there. They're also throwing over there. The momentum has definitely changed. The Rams have come to life.
And it all started going back when the Giants leading. That's Kent Hill, who was injured earlier, and he was shaken up again, and he'll have to come out and go to the pits. Hill is a big fella, 6'5" and 260, a rookie out of Georgia Tech, and he was a number 1 round draft choice this year. Chicago edging San Francisco in a wild one, 21-20, thanks to Walter Payton's 3rd touchdown of the game. 2nd and 1 on the 36 of the Giants. The whole ball game has changed after the Giant gamble. Whoops. I think it's going to be against Hayden. Dennis Harrah and John Mendenhall are angry.
Yeah.
But the 30-second clock had run down. It'll be against Hayden. Dennis Harrah.
Well, it's...
And John Mendenhall had a few words and punches.
Yeah, I think Mendenhall threw a punch.
So that's the end of the 3rd quarter. We take a look at the punch again.
Here's the punch.
Here's Mendenhall. Big right hand to the right side.
There it is.
But Harrah wearing a helmet and a face guard, it didn't mean a thing. So that's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Giants 13, the Rams 7. We now pause for a word from your local station. Vin Scully along with George Allen from the Coliseum, 70 degrees. And although the Giants are leading, the complexion of the game has changed. It is 2nd and 1. And there goes Eddie Hill across the 35, and that should be enough for a first down. Ever since the Giants were leading 13-0 and in a punt situation gambled for the first down, the whole game has changed.
I know I've said this before. We used to have an expression, don't be too smart. And many times you outsmart yourself. Play football, play sound football. Don't take chances when you don't have to.
And, of course, Ray Perkins might very well wind up chewing on that on a long flight back if the Rams come from behind. Hayden setting up to the left side. He's got Denard all alone at the 16-yard line. Caldwell was defending, but the Rams are coming now.
Caldwell was beaten badly. He was turned around completely. Didn't see the ball. There it is.
They will spot it just inside the 17-yard line where it's 1st and 10.
The only way you can change the momentum in something like this is for the Giant defense to come up with a big play.
So Hayden, who had been shut out so thoroughly throughout the first half, now trying to get on the board with a lead. Eddie Hill with Hill blocking. Goes around Beasley Reese and gets inside the 10. There's a flag on the play.
Well, they're still hammering that left side because the strong side linebacker, 57, is getting hooked.
However, there's a holding penalty against the Rams. I hate to say it in advance, but the way they acted, I think it was Gordon Gravel again. But I know it's holding against the Rams.
Boy, we've had a lot of holding penalties today.
So that was 1st and 10 from the 17. It'll make it 1st and 20, spotting it at the 27.
Offense holding number 86.
Okay, I apologize to Gordon Gravel. It was Charlie Young who was guilty of it this time.
And he's holding Skopan.
So 1st and 20 from the 27. Peacock and Hill are split. Hayden down the middle, all alone is Ron Smith. He was tripped up at the 5-yard line by Beasley Reese and downed at about the 3.
Wide open, wide open. No pressure on Hayden. Watch, all day to throw. All day to throw. Surveyed the field. So wonder he didn't score there. Good execution on the Rams' part.
A last split-second tackle by Beasley Reese at the shoe top, so he might very well have gone in. So it's 1st and goal on the 4. Denard is on a wing, and Hayden is going to pass in the end zone to Charlie Young. No good. He had Young isolated on Kelly.
Well, Young was open. Pat was rushed. He had to get rid of the ball before he could set his feet and throw it accurately.
So it'll be 2nd and goal on the Giant 4. The Giants put on a couple of excellent goal line stands against Kansas City last week. They're asked to stuff a very tough offense now. 2nd and goal from the 4.
Cullen Bryant, number 32, just came in.
Well, you have Peacock, Bryant, and Eddie Hill, a full house backfield. And it's going to be Elvis Peacock. And he didn't quite make it. He's inside the 1. He's about 1 foot away from the plane of the goal line. So it will be 3rd and goal inside the 1.
Give the ball to your best back straight ahead.
And Bryant was in for just that one play and comes out again.
Came in as a blocker.
Terry Nelson comes in, so you have the tight ends, Terry Nelson and Charlie Young.
The Giants almost got caught with 12 men on the field.
3rd and goal from the 1. Hayden to the second man, Eddie Hill. Remember, he just has to get to the plane of the goal. And the Giants evidently stacked him up. And it's going to be 4th and goal from inches.
They're going to go for it. Rams taking timeout.
Dan Lloyd is coming in. Oldham is going out. Harry Carson is going to the sidelines. Phil Tabor, the rookie out of Oklahoma, is now in there in this goal line stand. 4th and goal. The nose of the football virtually inches from the plane of the goal line.
Well, here's where you go over the top. The Giants are going to be low, submarining, trying to penetrate and get across. And Wendell, if they're in an I formation, Wendell Tyler does a real good job of going over the top.
Wendell Tyler just came in the ballgame for Eddie Hill, as you see Pat Hayden talking to Ray Malavasi. And that's young Jeff Rutledge listening. Meanwhile, the beleaguered Giant defense, they have stiffened on 3 tries, but there is yet another. It is 4th and goal, inches away. It is 13-7 Giants, 12:31 left in the game.
Let's see what formation they're in.
So you say if it's the I, it'll be Tyler over the top.
Tyler right up the middle, over the top.
All right, Peacock and Tyler, they are not in the I. It's a Brown formation. The fullback, Peacock, is behind Hayden. And it'll be Peacock. And a flag on the play. Hold everything.
They stopped them. They did not score.
There's a flag on the play. The Giants stopped him, but now let's see about the interpretation.
The penalty's on the Rams.
Holding against the Rams, and the Giants have held. What a goal line stand. It was 1st and goal from the 4. Watch Peacock now. And Dan Lloyd stuck a shoulder in him. It was Dan Lloyd who backed him off.
Dan Lloyd got across. Had good body lean. That was the big play the Giants defense needed. Now the Giant offense has to make a 1st down, get out of that hole.
So Phil Simms and a rejuvenated Giant ball club will put it in play from about their own 6-inch line. 12:27 left in the game, 13-7 New York. The coaches have played a tremendous part in this game. We'll tell you about it in a moment as the Giants put it in play now. 1st and 10 inside their own 1. And it'll be Billy Taylor. And he gets it out to the 5. The reason we say that the coaches have played such a big part, you remember Ray Perkins sending in that fake punt, and it seemed to really rejuvenate the Rams, and they went on for a touchdown. Now the Rams had it 4th and goal. They had a backfield of Tyler and Peacock. Tyler has rushed for 5 touchdowns. Peacock has no touchdowns, and on a 4th and goal, they gave it to Peacock.
Peacock's in a strange position. He hasn't been in that position enough. You need a guy who's been in there to go over the top and get that 1 yard.
Well, 2nd and 6 from the 5. Oh, Mike Fanning. Mike Fanning, number 79, just ate him up and dropped Billy Taylor.
Nobody blocked him. So wonder didn't fumble the ball. Mike's an underrated football player. Good
and a
pass,
big one.
Good pass rusher.
He is 6'6", 248, 5 years out of Notre Dame. He started off on shaky legs. He broke his ankle in 75. He had a shoulder injury in 77. He replaced Cody Jones in the Ram front 4, and now he's doing a whale of a job. 3rd and 7 from the 4. And offside is Mike Fanning. Would you believe? One minute he makes the great play,
yeah,
and a long count got him.
He went on a long count, Ben, and Fanning anticipated. That's 5 big yards there.
Defense, number 79, encroachment, 3rd down.
You know, Simms would be a heck of a quarterback to have a rollout design where you pass first and run second. With his athletic ability, he'd be difficult to defense.
So it's 3rd down and a long 2 for Phil Simms. The ball on the Giant 9. Taylor hit at the line of scrimmage and got out to the 10. Taylor also lost the ball by fighting for that extra yardage, and it would not appear as if he got the first down.
That's what happens. He's up high.
He didn't lose the ball. No, he came up without it, but he just dropped it at the last moment. They ruled it down, and now let's see.
Big measurement here for both ball clubs.
From here, it would appear as if they have inches. Nope, they got it by an inch.
He got that on his own, fighting for that extra 2 inches. Big first down. Every play is the ball game. This is what your players have to realize. Every play, every time you break the huddle, this is the ball game. It isn't the last 2 or 3 plays or the 2-minute drill. It's right in here, this next play.
And we have 10:56, now down to 10:50. First and 10, the ball just about to the 11-yard line. Sims to Coder, and they eat him up. Elmendorf got him high. Brooks is down at the bottom. So he just about got it back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, the Rams dogged them, and they hit the right hole.
Well, as you said earlier, when you're down near your own end zone, it is so critical to at least get 1 first down, and the Giants have done that after that stirring goal line stand.
Give your punter a chance to have a little room to kick.
A surprise, Steve DeBerg has just passed to Freddie Solomon for a touchdown, and the 49ers leading the Bears 27-21 in the fourth quarter. Coder. Jack Reynolds bringing him down as Jim Youngblood went flying over, and now the yardage is very tough to buy.
It sure is. 3rd and 8.
A 3rd and 8 on the 13, an injured Giant.
Coder.
And it could be Doug Coder who carried, and of course that would be a terrific blow to Ray Perkins and company.
Well, he's their most dependable back.
Coder, to show you the part he has played, he has rushed for 29 yards, and he has caught 4 passes for 57 yards. So Doug Coder is hurt with 9:54 left in the game, and the Giants trying to hold on to a 13-7 lead. 13-7 Giants, 9:52 left in the game. It is 3rd and 8. The ball is on the Giant 13-yard line, and Ken Johnson is now in there for the shaken up Doug Coder. Sims throwing low and just behind the intended receiver, covered by Dwayne Osteen. It was intended for Johnny Perkins, and he might have been glancing directly into the sun looking back.
It could be. He had him open, and he had pretty good protection there. He had more protection than he thought. He started to shuffle his feet and jumped around and threw the ball low and behind him.
No doubt talking about that play. And now Dave Jennings will be punting from the end zone. Eddie Brown standing all alone on the Ram 45. The Rams go back to block, and the kick is relatively short, fielded at the 49-yard line, and immediately Brown pays for it.
Well, the Rams have great field position again.
We have 9 minutes and 23 seconds left in the game. The Giants 13, the Rams 7. Monday on CBS, Coolidge's apartment goes up in smoke, but it's the White Shadow who gets burned. After that comes MASH, WKRP in Cincinnati, and Lou Grant, all right here Monday night on CBS. The Rams have it in perfect position now, good field position. 1st and 10 on the Giant 49-yard line. Hayden looking into the sun for his receiver, cranks up and lets it fly. Overthrows the intended receiver, Preston Denard.
Had him open, wide open. Pat had good protection. Watch him step up, and sometimes when you step up and throw on the move like this, there's a tendency to overthrow, which he did in this case. Every time they've had, most of the time when they've had Eddie Hill in there, number 24, they put him on the linebacker. Try to get him on a 1-on-1 situation.
It was Eddie Hill who scored that big play, the touchdown.
And he's still in there.
So Peacock and Hill are the running backs. 2nd and 10 from the Giant 49. Hayden trying to throw over hands and arms. Intercepted by Caldwell. Caldwell picked it off at the 27-yard line, and what made it effective, the Giant linemen had their hands so high in the air, Hayden was throwing over a forest.
They made him throw out of a well. Let's watch this. They got a pretty good rush. Mendenhall coming in there, coming around. See the hands getting up, and Hayden threw off balance, threw a looping ball. No chance to be broken up at all by the receiver.
That's the 3rd interception for the Giants against Hayden. So Hayden now this year has had 13 intercepted and 3 of them today. Big play by Caldwell. So it is 1st and 10 on the Giant 28. Coder is back in there with Billy Taylor. Under a lot of pressure, Sims throws it away. Boy, did he get drilled.
And Sims is down.
Yeah, he really got it.
Well, they dogged him. They didn't. See, he's taken a beating today. Nearly every time they've dogged him, they've been in there, right in on him. Let's see if we can see that again. And whether he got the ball off or not, he's had delivery sacks. Here it is. Oh, he's hit from the front and the back both. Hope it's not serious. It might just be his wind.
The young Phil Sims really drilled that time, and loosening up on the sidelines. There's Randy Dean. Dean is the backup man 3 years out of Northwestern.
They haven't picked up the Ram dogs very well. From the first quarter on, he's been getting hit repeatedly when the Rams have dogged him. I think he's all right, though.
Sims getting to his feet, but I think they're going to make him come out even if he wanted to stay in. And of course there's empathy on the other side of the field, because Pat Hayden was literally chopped in pieces here last week by San Diego. So Phil Sims paying the price.
You know, what I always used to worry about then when I brought in a second quarterback like this, the first snap.
A fumble, you mean?
Yeah, he hasn't worked with your center during the game. His cadence, the timing of the snap.
So Randy Dean, 24 years old, 6'3", 195 at the control, 2nd and 10 on the Giant 28. Whistles and a pass through the hands of Perkins, but there are flags on the play.
Actually, there was bad timing on that, and that's what happened. Illegal motion. See, new cadence coming in, first play. They're used to Sims. They're used to the previous quarterback. At least that's better than fumbling the ball.
Evidently, the infraction on the left side, maybe Brad Benson, number 60. Yep.
False start.
Brad
Second
Benson
down.
making the false start. The report on Phil Sims, he had the wind knocked out. There he is. But they expect him to come back. Second down again for Randy Dean. And it's a draw to Coder, but he really can't get anywhere. Mike Fanning stacking it up.
The Rams are dogging every down. That time they dogged Elmendorf, the strong safety. I'd get Sims in there as soon as I could if he's healthy. They need his ability to make the big play.
So it's 3rd and 14. The ball is on the Giant 24-yard line. We have 8:30 left in the game, and the Giants holding on to a 13-7 lead. In motion, Billy Taylor. He's picked up by Jim Youngblood. Over the middle is the pass. No good. I think it was intended for Perkins, but the closest man to it was Dave Elmendorf.
Yeah, poor execution. No chance on that.
So Randy Dean comes in, can't handle a couple of plays. Phil Sims trying to get his breath back. And Dave Jennings comes in to punt. Jennings standing on his 10. Eddie Brown deep for the Rams, standing on the Ram 35.
Looks like they might be going after it.
The Rams can't get in. end-over-end punt that'll bounce and roll down inside the 25 to the 20. And it'll go about the 17-yard line.
There's an example, Ben, of a bad punt where you got a 15-yard roll. Gives the Giants pretty good field position.
8 minutes left. The Rams have the ball first and 10 on their own 18. 13-7 Giants. 2 Danilo field goals and a 19-yard pass from Sims to Shirk. Eddie Hill going to the 21-yard line, and Dan Lloyd brings him back. If you joined us late, the Ram touchdown was a 21-yard pass from Hayden to Eddie Hill, number 24, who just carried the ball. So it'll be 2nd and 5 from the 23 of the Rams.
This is a big series for the Rams. It's a big series for the Giant defense.
And the coach is showing the strain. Ray Perkins on the left, Ray Malavasi on the right. It'll be Elvis Peacock, and as he hammered from the side by Brian Kelly, number 55.
Oh, I like that Kelly. He gives you everything he has. He's a hitter. He's a hustler. And another guy that's having a good game is number 70, Jeter, today.
Of course, Jeter went to school here at SC. Brian Kelly lives here in Thousand Oaks. They have a little extra going today. 3rd and 4 from the Ram 24. Denard left, Smith right. Peacock and Eddie Hill, the running back. Hayden, play action roll. And buried by George Martin.
Yeah.
Oh, did Martin drill him? And Hayden is hurt.
Martin made a heck of a play, and did Jeter come around there? See 70 over there? Jeter was right behind him. Watch Jeter. Watch 70 pursue on this. This is real hustle. And watch him come down the line. If Pat decides to cut back, he's right there. And here comes Martin, and there's Jeter right there to finish him off. Good teamwork.
Jeter really drilled Dan Reisig, and Reisig is shaken up on that play. So
might get a bad snap.
4th and 5 from the 23, and Reisig now has to snap the ball deep to Ken Clark, who'll be punting from his 10. High snap. There you have it. Chasing him is Martin. Hitting him is Moorhead.
I don't think he made it.
So it could have been the bad snap was because Jeter drilled the center, Dan Reisig.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's a bad snap.
Chamberlain wouldn't have had any trouble with that one.
So I'm sure a lot of folks here just think it was a bad snap, but those of you who saw the replay, you saw Reisig get hit by Jeter. That's a pretty good reason for a bad snap.
Danny's had some trouble with his arm. His arm goes numb when he's hit. He's been playing regular offensive guard, and they've had to take time out.
But now Phil Simms is in there for the kill, so to speak, with 6:20 left. It is 1st and 10 on the Ram 26.
Now the strategy is no mistakes. Come away with at least 3 points. Don't take chances.
Crowder and Taylor in there behind Simms. And Simms is going to take a chance. He's going to pass it in a crowd. And he's got Perkins inside the 15. I don't know how Elmendorf didn't pick that off.
That was almost intercepted. Gee.
And Malavasi can't believe what has transpired here today. It is 13-7 Giants, and the Giants are driving for yet another touchdown with 5:56 left in the game.
The big thing the Giants want to do is keep that clock running, and again, come away with 3 points. Don't make mistakes in here.
1st and 10 on the Ram 14.
No penalties. There he took time out. That's good. That's smart on his part. That shows me something, Ben.
It doesn't quite tell at all. 5:40 left. The Giants 13-7. And perhaps the key play here, the injury when Gary Jeter ran over Dan Reisig. Reisig then in a punting situation was the snapper and made a bad snap, but you can understand it after he had been hurt. And the Giants take over 1st and 10 on the 26. They now have it 1st and 10 on the Ram 14. 5:41 left.
And you know, Ben, what you have to tell your ball club, you have to tell the offense, this is the ball game. You have to tell your defense, this is the ball game right here.
All right, let's see about it. 1st and 10 on the Ram 14. Slot right, Perkins inside Scales. Shirk is on the left side. And Simms going to put it up again to Perkins. Touchdown! He beat Nolan Cromwell.
You know, he threw that a line drive. Usually you loop that ball. He threw a line drive and still got it in there. Let's see it again. Here it is. He's looking all the way. Went up and took it away.
Nolan Cromwell unable to get there.
Well, Cromwell's playing out of position.
Right.
He's a safety playing the left corner. Didn't see the ball.
And for Perkins, his third touchdown reception of the year. So it is 19-7 New York. Danilo kicks it up. It's good.
Perkins made a nice catch. Perkins went up and took the ball at its highest point, and that's what he's supposed to do. Cromwell
5
lost
minutes, 39 seconds left in the ball game, and the Giants, who have not beaten the Rams since 1961 in Yankee Stadium, when Charlie Connolly did it 24-14, they're leading 20-7. 5:39 left in the game. Giants 20 and a desperate Ram Club 7 with Joe Danilo kicking and deep Drew Hill, number 87. And Danilo gives it a pretty good thump. Hill takes it on his 1 to the 10, 15 to the 20. Cuts inside Reese to the 30 and is brought down. Scorpan finally hit him as he got out to the 33-yard line.
Miami defeated Green Bay 27-7.
So 1st and 10 for the Rams with 5 minutes and 28 seconds left in the game. The Rams have not lost 3 straight since 1972. And for the Giants, they not only snapped a 10-game losing streak on the road against Kansas City, they're trying to make it 4 straight for the first time since 72. Hayden, a little release to Elvis Peacock to the 45, midfield and to the Giant 49-yard line, 1st and 10.
From here on in, it's pass rush and pass protection. The linebackers have to play Peacock a little tighter than that. His big plays this year have been on flare passes where he gets the ball out in the flat and runs with it.
Hayden sending Denard left and Smith right. It's Peacock and Eddie Hill in the backfield. Hayden over the middle, and he's got his man. Once again, it's Elvis Peacock to the 36-yard line with Harry Carson making the tackle.
You know, Peacock didn't catch the ball very much at Oklahoma. None of their backs do. When he came to the Rams, we found out he was a heck of a receiver. He has fine hands, soft hands.
He had caught 15 going into this game. So it's 1st and 10 on the Giant 36. Back Sinclair, and it's another one to Peacock. And he cuts inside the 30. Almost made the first down on a great second effort.
You know, then sometimes you think you got the ball game won, and you play a little too soft, you play a little too loose. The Giants are giving them a lot of yardage.
So it is 2nd and 1. The ball is on the Giant 27. 3 straight passes to Elvis Peacock. Charlie Young in there on the right end as the tight end. This time it's Eddie Hill. Eddie running for the first down. It'll be very close, but he fell forward just enough to pick it up. The 1st and 10 Rams. The Rams taking a timeout, so they'll have 2 left. 20-7 in favor of the Giants. 3:38 left. 1st and 10 Rams on the Giant 25-yard line. Hayden looking down the middle, and he's got Ron Smith inside the 10. Oldham brings him down at about the 8-yard line. And it's another first down. The Rams battling the clock and the Giants.
The Giants on that last down went back to their 34 defense. They brought in Lloyd, took out Tabor.
And Hayden now in what might be a busted play. Flags are flying, and Pat's arm is deflected by Mendenhall.
Well, I think it's against the Giants. Offside against the Giants. It's against the Giants.
Evidently, Dennis Harrer and Eddie Hill are pointing towards the Giants. Offsides against New York, the preliminary signal. You can take another look at Hayden. And once again, Mendenhall slithering off the arm and the pass falling harmlessly. But of course, since the penalty was against the Giants, the Rams now with 3:08 getting closer. It'll be first and goal.
Defense number 75. Offside, first down.
That's George Martin trying to put on an extra rush.
Mendenhall, to his credit, he kept coming.
First and goal. The ball is just about on the Giant 3-yard line. And Hayden is going in the end zone, and it's dropped. Eddie Hill was the intended receiver. It might have been a little too hard to handle. That was a hard pass.
He threw that about 10 yards and real hard, and I think Kelly was right there on him. Let's see. Oldham right on him. The free safety is up so tight he's like a linebacker there.
So it is second and goal from the 3. Smith is wide right, Denard left. Hayden looking in the end zone, lobbing it, intended for Denard. Oh, what a catch by Preston Denard. Over Oldham and away from Caldwell.
It looked like he overthrew the ball. Denard made a great catch. We'll see that again.
That's his second touchdown of the year.
Pat has pretty good protection, and this is a type of pass that you're never going to have intercepted. Now watch this catch. He lays out right in the fingertips. You can't defense that pass. The Rams are back in the ball game now. The Giants defense played a little too soft, a little too loose, let them march all the way down the field. We saw this against Cleveland, the Redskins, a couple of weeks ago. Same thing.
So now it is 20-13 Giants. Corral trying to cut the lead. The spot, the kick, it's good. And we have 2 minutes and 57 seconds left in the ball game. Boy, don't go wandering off. The Giants 20 and the Rams 14. With 2:57 left in the game, it is 20-14 Giants. The Rams kicking off, and last-minute instructions brought in by Bill Dunston. And it's a squib kick and fielded by Beasley Reese. And Beasley goes down at the 31.
Yeah.
Reggie Doss brought him down.
Well,
A reminder, following football, 60 minutes in the East, and of course the folks on the West Coast will see it at its regularly scheduled time. There's Preston Denard, who just made that magnificent diving fingertip catch for a touchdown. And for the Rams, the spirit is back up. There's a few fresh smiles around the ballpark. 2:51 left, 20-14 Giants. And now it's up to Phil Simms to keep the ball. Scales left and Perkins right. Doug Coder got away from Dreyer and goes down in front of Reynolds right at the line of scrimmage.
the Giants have two objectives. One, to make 2 first downs. That should be their goal. Make at least 2 first downs and keep the clock running. If the clock is stopped, force the Rams to use their timeouts so that when they get the ball, they don't have any timeouts.
Well, in the timeouts, they each have 1 remaining now. The Giants 20 and the Rams 14. And Ray Malavasi, who came in here with a .500 ball club, 4-4, and got the news that New Orleans beat Washington to go into first place. And the Rams, of course, either win this to tie or lose it to be a game back. Meanwhile, Cincinnati defeated Philadelphia 37-13. And a big hello to all you folks who are watching that ball game. 2:41 left in this game. The Giants have it 2nd and 10 on their own 31-yard line. There were 2 field goals by Joe Danello, a 19-yard pass from Simms to Shirk, and then a 21-yard pass from Hayden to Hill. Perkins then caught one from Simms for 14 yards and a touchdown. And then Hayden went to Denard. So it's 20-14 Giants. Don't forget, 60 minutes will follow the football game immediately. Simms under heat, releasing it, no good, and there's a flag, and it's going to be, I think, against Reynolds for face guarding Billy Taylor, or at least it's going to involve those two.
That's intended for Taylor.
Let's take a look.
Well,
the
he didn't
pass
have,
was intended for Taylor.
He didn't have much of a chance to catch it. Watch.
and the flag was thrown immediately.
By the
Yeah, he
defense,
could call it on Reynolds.
behind the line of scrimmage, therefore no pass interference. We pick up the flag. Third down.
Behind the line of scrimmage, no pass interference.
So they pick up the flag that had been thrown. So Billy Taylor behind the line of scrimmage. And that'll be third down. That's about the second or third time we've seen a flag picked up this year.
And this is what the Rams want. The clock is stopped for them. They don't have to waste a timeout.
3rd and 10 on the Giant 31. Scales goes left. Perkins right. Shirt, the tight end on the right side. And it's Coder and Taylor. Sims looking to the left. Going deep, and there's nobody there. It might have been to Perkins, who appears to be stunned. Perkins is standing on the 45, and apparently somebody either read or ran the wrong route.
Yep. Sims was dogged on it. He had no chance. He had to get rid of the ball. He feels that Perkins was interfered with.
So there you have it. With 2:32 left in the game, the Rams are going to get their hands on the football again. Jennings will be kicking from his 20. Eddie Brown is all alone on the Ram 30. Eddie Brown backing up to his own 20. Chased by Beasley Reese. And Reese brought him down. What a big play.
Great tackle by Beasley Reese. Great tackle and a clutch punt by Jennings. Jennings has come through today with some excellent punting. Watch this play now. Watch this tackle by Beasley Reese.
Eddie Hill taking the pass from Hayden, slipped and fell at the 20-yard line. He has to get to the 23. The Rams, of course, are in a 2-minute drill, and we have 2 minutes and 6 seconds left, says the clock, and Hayden in a hurry. Looking over the middle, and he's got Preston Denard at the 38-yard line. And now the 2-minute warning, 1:58, and the clock is stopped. So Pat Hayden on a move, fighting the Giants and the clock.
I consider Pat Hayden a good 2-minute quarterback, and this is what it amounts to.
So timeout here at the Coliseum with 1:58 left. Let's go for a bulletin to Brent Musburger in CBS Football Control. The Rams do not have any timeouts. We have 1:58 left in the game. It is 20-14 Giants. And Pat Hayden with Coach Ray Malavasi on your right and Ray Perkins on the left. They're all in the hot seat. The Giants trying to beat the Rams for the first time since 1961. The Rams trying to get a victory, get above the 500 mark, and tie New Orleans winners today against Washington. And another reminder, 60 minutes upcoming immediately after football. 1st and 10 from the Ram 39. Hayden down the middle, and it is taken away by Dan Lloyd. Dan Lloyd took it away from Charlie Young. That would be the 4th interception against Hayden.
What a great play by Lloyd. Let's see if we can see that again. Lloyd has his man covered, and then he slides to the inside. Pat has time to throw. Watch Lloyd slide to the inside, anticipate, get the jump on the ball. The Giant defense has been tremendous today.
Charlie Young never got his hands on it. He was the intended receiver, number 86, but there Dan Lloyd just moved in front of him and took it away from the big tight end. So Hayden has passed for 282 yards, and it doesn't mean anything. Ray Perkins' man, Phil Sims, has passed for 175, and he's going to win it. The difference in interceptions, Sims has thrown 1, and Hayden has thrown 4. 1st and 10 from the Ram 46, and down goes Sims just to eat up the clock.
Now that's
Remember,
good.
The Rams are helpless.
Right, no timeouts. You know, another thing, we've talked about Jennings. Jennings has 8 punts for 354 yards, and he's kicked some clutch punts today out of the end zone around his 10-yard line that put the Rams in bad field position.
Ray Malavasi, a picture of dejection. The Rams to lose would go to 4-5 and be 1 game back of New Orleans. And you can see the fans. There were 43,376, and quite a few of them are saying adios to this one. Sims again goes down, and the clock ticks away.
Well, it looks like a great victory for Ray Perkins, his coaching staff, the New York Giants, and all the area of New York. 4 straight. They beat a playoff team today. The Rams are a playoff team.
Ray Perkins hollowing to Phil Simms, use all of it. And we would like to thank our producer, Perry Smith, our director, Tony Verna, to Dr. Bob Woods for his stats, along with Ozzie Lang and Denny Mnuchin, and all the fellows who worked so hard to bring you the telecast. 20-14 Giants. It is 3rd and 14, but that's not really important right now. Simms is going to go down again, eat up some more time. The clock shows only 30 seconds left.
By positioning 3 backs in a backfield, if there's a bad snap, if the ball goes through, they recover it, and they keep the defense off your quarterback so he doesn't take a blow.
Ray Perkins has done something the Giants do not know about. They have won 4 straight for the first time since 1972. They've won their 2nd in a row on the road in 72, and it's the first time they have beaten the Rams since 1961. So the Giants, who have gone through a long and painful period of something like 15 years, are on the upbeat, are on the upswing. And it's all due to Ray Perkins, to George Young, and to a talented young coach and quarterback, young Phil Simms.
Simms made 3 plays on his own today. A lot of quarterbacks could not have made the plays that he made. He's physical. He's got good size. He can run. Plays that the defense, you can't practice defense in those plays because you don't know when they're going to come up. And he showed something today, Ben, that I didn't know he had. He's got some toughness because he took a pounding today.
He did indeed. In fact, at one stage it was questionable if he'd even be able to come back. And he not only came back, but he was able to move the club in and get the big touchdown to Perkins that virtually iced the ball game.
And the Giant defense stopping the Rams on 4th and inches when the Rams could have gone ahead was a critical part of this ball game.
So the Giants have made it 4 straight as they knock off the Rams 20-14. The Giants led 3-0 at the end of the first quarter, 10-0 at the half. Then it was 13-7 at the end of 3 quarters, and then the final score 20-14. So for George Allen, Vin Scully saying so long, the NFL on CBS, a presentation of